Friday. Tamanika says, chilling with Consciouztv on Friday night, period. Got my drink, okay? I love you all. Before we get into this nasty piece of hot topics, you already know what I need you all to do. Go ahead and thumbs up the video until it is absolutely stuck. Not only does thumbing up the video help with the notification system, but it also triggers up YouTube's algorithm, okay? So when you're thumbing up and pressing like on the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Consciouz Crew member and telling them to get their arses into the sanctuary. Trasha K gotta run that money. What makes you say that? I don't think we got Trasha K on the docket, do we? What makes you say that outside the box? I don't believe we have the unhinged one. I don't believe we have y'all bald-headed sister in Christ on the docket tonight. No, not tonight. But yes, she does have to run Miss Cardi B all 3.8 million of those damn Mexican pesos. Okay. Also, before we get started, go ahead and make sure that you have your notification bell set to all. Shout out to Order the New Subbies. And make sure that you share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that is your YouTube community wall, your Instagram story, Snapchat, Facebook, the dark side of Twitter and Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't give a damn where you lay the link. Just let them whores know. The Real Out Live and in column. With no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let me go ahead and speak to some of the Consciouz Crew who are in the building. Thank you for being up late with us tonight, you guys. We had to be late because of Reckless Girl. Y'all know Reckless Girl. She be on CP time, girl. CP 2.0 time, child. Okay, so that's why we doing an old late night with you guys tonight. But shout out to the beautiful one, Styles. Hey, babes. Hey, Viper. What's going on, Cheryl? Hey, Hunter, who says, Conscious, you truly make my day. That warms my cold, cold Scorpio heart. I'm so happy to know that, Hunter. Love you, sis. What's going on outside the box? Hey, Dancing with Nature. Hey, Intersex. What's going on, Cheryl? Hey, Miss Nikki. What's going on? Hi, Love Bug. What's going on, Lady D? Hey, Tay. What's going on, Shondalyn? Hey, Boo. What's going on, Brianna? What's going on, The Real Brant? Hey, Lisa. Hey, Boo. Hope you're doing well. I see you are talking about putting those pain meds in your child. Okay, gotta numb all that plastic surgery that Lisa Morrison that went over there to Mexico to get y'all. She done ran down there to Cabo, girl, and got her titties done, her ass done, her cheeks done, her teeth done, girl. Gonna come back looking like a whole new woman, child. Okay, so we saying that Lisa Morrison, light and love, honey. She in her Kardashian bag right now. Hey, boo. What's going on, Denitria? Hi. What's going on, Maria? What's going on, Chanel? Hey, Sexy 60. What's going on? Hey, CW. Hey, Lady D. What's going on, Amy? Hey, baby father Kev. What's going on, Keeney? Hey, Simply Red. Hey, boo. What's going on, Mimi Twin? Hi. What's going on, Fluffy? What's going on? Let me scroll on up, chat. How doing? What's going on, Lakia? Hi. Hey, everybody. Hey, Kiwana. Hey, boo. What's going on, y'all? Let me scroll. Hey, Deborah. What's going on, Cynthia? Hey, boo. What's going on, Rumors and Tea? Hey, Rock Chick. What's going on, Cheryl? Hey, Sabra. What's going on, Dazelle Moore? Hi. What's going on, Crown Jewels? All right, y'all. So, hey, everybody. Hey, Derek. Y'all, Derek. I was going to shout out that lip balm, okay? I was recommending nasty piece of lip balm that I love, okay? But it don't roll off the table into the Netherlands. So I have to show that to you all another time. But shout out to Derek for the recommendation, child, because it definitely keeps these dick suckers moist and luscious and attracting all the boys to this here yard. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and bring up my special guest. What's going on, Reckless?
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hey.
What's going on, Vala? All right, before we get into it, child, let the folks know what they can find you at on these nasty digital streets.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Land of Reckless Logic. Please make sure you guys pop that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please, please, please smack that notification bell so do not miss any more posts from us. I am Reckless Logic. I have a YouTube channel by the name of Reckless Logic. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Reckless Logic. But however, for Logic, it's spelled with 2 C's, but also instead of an O, you will put an X, and that'll be all.
Ooh, chat. Period. We also did an old nasty piece of collaboration, you guys, a few nights ago on Reckless channel. So make sure you guys give that a click in the view. I shared it on my community wall, honey. We got into a really good discussion about some things, guys. So definitely head over. Plus, Reckless done ran down there and pawned all of his ex-boyfriend shit to get him some new YouTube equipment, girl. So he gonna be back on these streets with content for y'all because he got all type of gadgets and things, girl. Okay,
you see how people spread rumors?
Yes, honey. Okay, but they don't call me the tea spiller for nothing, child. But speaking of spilling tea, Reckless, are you ready for tonight? We got quite a bit to get into. It's a lot going on. Before we even get into that, let me blow myself up real quick. So
come on, blow yourself up.
I am wearing face jewelry, you guys. This is the other piece of the facial mask I had on, girl. I feel like a damn Marvel. What are those? What is the name of that animation series where it's the father? He has a nuclear family, and they're like a family of superheroes. Even the baby got superpowers. The Incredibles. Bro. I feel like an old nasty piece of Incredibles, grid. Plus, I like going out in public wearing all this shit and spooking all of the non-mutants, girls, spooking all the humans, child. All right, they don't know whether I'm robbing a bank, bitch, or coming to save them from a robbery, girl. I live for it. All right, but
you're giving them nasty piece of cannibal.
Yes, I will link these things in the description box, and you guys will be getting a reel over on Instagram of me modeling those things. Okay, now hold on. How do I do this shit? All right, here we go. All right, so first thing we gotta do is kick things. You look like a divine cyborg. Oh, that part. Is it giving cyborg? Is it giving like Siri? Is it giving Siri 2.0?
Yes, it's given Cyborg, aka from the Teen Titans.
Okay, see, let's bring it back all type of nostalgia. I used to be a Nickelodeon Cartoon Network type of a bitch when I was a little bitch. Oh my god. All right, Teen Titan, I live for it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it, girl. First thing we got to do is pop off with y'all blonde hair, wig wearing sister in Christ, Miss NeNe Leakes, child. Okay, she done made it back into the headways, girl. All right, Miss NeNe Leakes is back, baby, on Miss YouTube, cashing Google AdSense checks. Okay, now NeNe recently did an old nasty piece of YouTube video, girl, just giving an update on all things NeNe Leakes. And what we learned about that is she recently did like almost a 3 to 4 hour podcast with Bethany Frankel, who's also an old nasty housewife as well, girl. In that YouTube video, NeNe Leakes spoke about the interview going well, her being hella nervous because she didn't know what the tea was going to be, girl. She didn't know if Beckel was going to, or Bethany, girl, I said Beckel, child. If Bethany was going to ask, some trick questions, girl, have her out here getting canceled and in more lawsuits and shit, child. But she said it actually went really, 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 really swell. And she also went on to talk about how shook and spooked she was at where Bethany Frankel had ended up financially, which was as a very, very rich bitch, okay? And how she herself is still working her black ass off, okay? She also spoke about and spoke in this kind of coded language about being sort of blackballed and being prohibited from working, and how she wasn't allowed to have endorsements and products and sponsors, etc. That every time those things came up for her, that those conversations went away rather quick and never came to fruition. Then she also spoke about her $1 million home in past tense. Now, maybe y'all know something that I don't, because the last time I checked over the fence, to see what Miss NeNe Leakes was giving, girl, I thought and assumed that she was still in that $1.2 million home that all the cockroaches were in the bathroom of, that Kim Zolciak's daughter, had ended up putting there when she had wrote down her panties, child. Okay, then all the trailer park insects just came crawling out all up and through the walls and shit, okay? And the Zolciaks tried to blame the infestation on NeNe, just being nasty, child, okay? Rather than it giving, vaginosis from the Zolciaks' perspective, child, okay? But is NeNe no longer living in her $1.2 trillion home? Have you heard about her moving into a deluxe apartment in the sky instead of living in her $1 million home, Reckless? Have you heard anything about the transition thereof?
No, the only person I ever heard that got either something going on with their home is Kim Zolciak. Other than that, I don't know.
Okay, well, Miss NeNe spoke in the past tense, girl, about the neighborhood she used to live in, about the home her and Greg used to live in, girl. It was given very much so, yesteryear. So I guess there's been transition there as well. Okay. Now, apparently NeNe is also going to be coming back to television. Okay. So before we go any further, what do you think about NeNe coming back to television, Reckless? And what do you think about her feeling shocked at where Bethany Frankel has ended up financially compared to where she's ended up, and she said in her YouTube video, she's done Bravo, she's done every reality TV series you can imagine. She's also been on every scripted television show, and yet Bethany Frankel is light years ahead of her financially. What do you think about all of that? Her coming back to TV. Oh, and there's also been recent controversy where she also spoke about how the producers from Housewives at one point tried to use her against Candy Burris, honey, to try to get Candy Burris up out of her, honey, to drag her for everlasting life and all of that. So what are your thoughts on all of that?
Okay, so you're gonna do question by question, because girl, the way my
all right, her coming back to our television screens. You with it?
Okay, so come back. I wouldn't mind it. Now in terms of NeNe being on television, she is reality TV gold. In terms of that realm, in terms of acting, yeah, it's given Disney Channel. But in terms of reality TV, she's reality TV gold. Put her on an ensemble cast. She's gonna be really good. She can flourish in those areas. That's how I feel about her coming back to reality TV. I personally like it. I may not always like her, but however, you can also not like somebody and realize, and also don't have to take away from their skill or from or what they're good at. And she's good on TV. In reality TV ensemble cast, she's good.
Agreed. I wonder why they didn't have her on this season of Villains, which is going to be starring like Bobby Light, Johnny Blaze, Tiffany Pollard. It's going to be like a lot of infamous reality show individuals packed in one house, giving real world tea / Bad Girls Club somewhat. With NeNe being an infamous figure as well, like that probably would have been a cute gig for her.
Because probably one or two things. One, because if you go with the idea that she is being blackballed and Bravo has something to do with it and producers, etc., 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 then if this is Bravo is a major network who has major connections. So behind the scenes, possibly producers may have connections with the other producers, etc. So they probably are on code, or because whatever you want to adopt or believe, etc. And or maybe because at different times she wasn't always the villain. I believe, like I'm gonna be honest, I think like in the last couple of seasons, that's when really NeNe became the villain. But in terms of a show that's strictly dedicated to being the villain, yeah, she can be on there, but however, I feel like she's recently became the villain, not really so much of her whole reality TV career.
Oh,
I don't
me and
know.
you beg to differ on that. You know, she was in the early season, she had started shit with her best friend Kim. She started that beef with Kim. Then when Candy came onto the show, she picked a fight with Candy because Kim didn't want her on target for the party, so she projected all that frustration on to Candy, and then Candy was about to blow up on her ass, and you know, it just kept spiraling from there. Her and Sheree, it just kept giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. There was always conflict. Like, I mean, NeNe has been into it with everybody,
I think
has not been able to sustain a single damn friend on the show.
I understand that, but I think it's also from the perspective of the viewers as well, because it's a lot of things that can happen in real life, real time, actually on the show. But however, the viewers may view that person and they may be the fan favorite. So even though in real life, real
you
time,
could be a fan favorite and still be the villain. Like, are those things?
Yes,
together.
But that's what I'm saying is that I think that's another reason why you may be the villain in terms of when viewers watch you, viewers have a disdain for you. I think that also could play a part. That's what I'm saying. It could be many reasons why, because I do believe she could most definitely could have been on the villain show, but it could be many reasons why she's probably not been suggested or even been offered the position, because it would make sense for her, especially towards the end of the seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta. People could not stand NeNe, and so it wouldn't, especially if people want to see her. There is a need or a market for NeNe in terms of putting her back on TV, because people want to see her. That's obvious because of the Carlos King interview. It didn't, I don't know how many views it did. I want to say it did millions. Don't quote me on it, but it did a lot of views in a short amount of time. So there's a need and a market to want to see her, because she's not really being showcased as of right now as frequently as she was previously. So it would have been good TV to put her back on TV. A good moment to put her back on TV. But yeah.
Do you think that could also be the result of this kind of blackballing she keeps alluding to, that she's not being allowed to have fluid work in the industry for some reason, and she thinks it's because there's some bullshit going on behind the scenes?
I don't know. I'm gonna be. I have no clue. Possibly. I don't know. Like, I don't know. And then on top, it's like, my thing is this. It's the way that she handled the situation. Like, you have to keep in mind, you started. Let's just get into it. The thing with NeNe is this: she's not consistent. She says one thing in one time frame, and then she says something else in a different time frame. It's the way that she handled the situation. On one end, you said Andy them, there was racist, etc. Yeah. Kim Zolciak racist. Ba. Y'all, you ate her up on season 10 reunion or season 9 reunion, whatever reunion that was, when she was wearing the red and Kim was wearing the red, and Kenya and NeNe was tag teaming the hell out of Kim Zolciak. But you ate her up, racist, the fried chicken, but all the other stuff. But then when things go south between you and Bravo, you're on live with the same quote unquote alleged, in your perspective, racist that you was just talking shit about on the reunion, however, how long ago. So it's not consistent. And then not only that, you said that Andy and Bravo are racist, they're this, they're that, but yet you still want to reconcile with said racist and also a network that mistreated you. So it's like she goes back and forth on what she says, etc. And keep in mind, even in I want to say in the Carlos King interview, or whatever, I think she had said something about Bethany Frankel, something like that. I think Bethany Frankel, and then now you're on the podcast with Bethany. So it's like,
well, I think she spoke positively, right? Because I think she also spoke Bethany also had led a charge when it came out that these networks like Viacom and Bravo were exploiting their talent and underpaying them and taking advantage of them, and these like working conditions being trash, and there being like pay wage gaps between reality stars on the same shows. And Bethany was, I think, very vocal and kind of like stood 10 toes down in that narrative. So I think in the Carlos King, if I'm not mistaken, NeNe was kind of giving her props for also like speaking out about the BS of the industry.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing with NeNe is that she's not consistent. And then on top of that, you called a major network owner racist, etc., and you're spilling the beans. So let's just say all of that was true, whatever. Cool. But the thing is that now other businesses, networks, etc., may actually look at you now as a liability.
Yep.
Okay, well, if I do hire you, well, if I do bring you on, things are going good, but then we come to a disagreement or something happens, and all of a sudden you want to spill all the company beans.
It's a Ku Klux Klan at work.
Yes, it's a liability factor. Now I do understand that NeNe was speaking out of her experience, etc., but it's a liability. People could possibly look at you as a liability because now I could bring you into what we have going on, but let's just say things don't go your way or we don't see eye to eye on something. Next thing you know, the same thing happens to me. So,
yeah. The real Brent says Bethany could say what NeNe couldn't say. That's why we see inconsistency. NeNe safely towing the line. Okay. What do you think about NeNe being shooketh, girl, that Bethany Frankel has coin, girl, and she's still living from paycheck to paycheck?
To my understanding, I could be wrong. Doesn't Bethany, she has businesses. What business? Nah, I'm not being shady. I'm being dead serious. What businesses do NeNe have? Like, and from what I heard, Bethany, she made a lot of money because there's a clause. Because Bethany Frankel is I can't remember her last name, I think it's Frankel. Is the reason why there's a clause for Bravo saying that any business that started or showcased on Bravo, they get a percentage because Bethany made so much money off of that. So and then that's another thing I want to say with Bethany. Now keep in mind too, I'm not well versed in her career, but from what I understand, she can stand alone. I'm not saying in the terms of a reality TV show, but however, she had her own talk show. She can stand alone and be her own entity. In terms of NeNe, when she separated from Real Housewives of Atlanta, now this everything I'm saying is my opinion. Now I could be right, could be wrong. It could subject to change. From what I've seen, when she stepped out of the light of Real Housewives of Atlanta and she started to go to different areas or avenues, it wasn't really sticking. I felt like what really could have stuck if she would have kept doing it was Broadway because she is dramatic. But when it came down to Glee, you see what happened with that. She ended up coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta and stuff. So it's like, it's I guess for her finding out what's something for her that she liked, that she enjoys, but also what's going to stick outside of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So yeah,
because apparently Bethany had products. She obviously has had her own TV show. She's also has a white woman's pussy. So, there's a lot of factors that would escalate her situation economically. I think NeNe, in terms of having things, I know that NeNe had a lounge that got closed down and that she's been sued over not paying the rent for. Then I think NeNe had a boutique, if I'm not mistaken. mistaken. I don't know if she still has her boutique or not, but there was that going on. And then remember, like last year or year before last, or year before that, or year before that one, where she was talking about coming out with this show with a bunch of damn Atlanta power bottoms about reading the girls down to the ground, girl. And that show was apparently going to be hosted in her lounge, I think, but we never heard anything about that either. Anything else about it, I would say, well, she got dragged actually for such an idea, but it was a lot going on. Okay. Well, I guess. Oh, well, how do you feel about her coming back to YouTube? Think that's a good look for NeNe?
I feel like it is. One thing about if you can't make or you can't find a job, make a job. You do have an audience. You do have people that do want to see you, especially if that is another source of income. And on top of that, you can get views. Of course, you might have to find out what lane of YouTube you want to do. Of course, it's either blogging, that's getting in front, talking about certain things. It's something you can find something to do with YouTube. And the thing, you just gotta find your lane. Now, the thing is that if you can't get a job, you can make a job. You do have an influence. You do have a following, and your views can accumulate to a source of income. And the good luxury about YouTube and being part of the partner program is that people don't have to, quote unquote, it's not mandatory or requirement for them to donate towards you. Their view counts. So as long as you have an audience that's willing to watch you, and from what we've seen in that Carlos King interview, that people been waiting to see you, people been waiting to hear from you, etc., then you'll be able to capitalize off of it. But it's all about the way that you do it and how you go about it. Like I feel like the show, in terms of her, with like you said, the Atlanta Power Bottoms. I don't know. I really don't know. It was real cringy. I feel like it was just the whole thing of like, you know, like it's kind of thing when they say when you first start YouTube, you kind of overdo everything. The light is not right, the audio's not right, the camera's not right. You kind of like everything just goes south, but you just started anyway. I think that was a part of that, and it was just a lot of things going on. So I'm just gonna leave that there. That's it. Dude.
Hey everybody, what's going on, Storm? What's going on, Leroy? What's going on, Leroy? Hey, I ain't see my nigga in a minute. What's going on, Leroy? You need to hit me up on Instagram. If you got Instagram, send me a message on Insta at Consciouztv, spelled just like my channel name. Because you are nigga, like you pop up ever so fucking often. Storm says that the food and drinks at her lounge was fire, but not fire. Not fire enough to keep them damn doors open. All right. Okay. Well, to that point, I think first of all that NeNe needs to be back on TV. All of the old heads are still working. Johnny Blaze, Tiffany Pollard. Okay, even the stars from MTV's Real World and Road Rules. Okay, hell, even Jersey Shore is still a thing. And most of them are moms and dads and are in orthopedics. Okay, I think that she should absolutely stay on YouTube and grow a brand, just like Candy Burris. Social media can literally be a second chance at branding for her and a solid and consistent bag. And there's many ways to get paid online. Okay. So NeNe would have no excuse there. There's hundreds of books, workshops, and seminars on how to be successful online. She doesn't even need a middleman like Bravo or Viacom. She'd be able to have more agency and control over her image and finances and the content that she markets. Okay. And I believe Kiwana said, what would NeNe's content be? I believe that, you know, she could do reviews for the show. That'd be a whole gag. Like imagine NeNe Leakes reviewing Housewives of Atlanta, you know, or any of the Housewives franchise. She could also incorporate what it looks like she's trying to do right now, which is a blogging channel, a lifestyle channel, etc. But she could review the girls and she could interview a lot of the reality
TV
stars, and not even just from Bravo, but just reality stars in general, since that's really her lane, and she's one of the, you know, godmothers of reality TV. So I think there's a big niche for NeNe, but she would have to really take it seriously and be dedicated. NeNe is very wish-washy when it comes to YouTube, etc. But yeah, I think that she could have a good thing going for herself if she was to really get with it. Thirdly, so I have a question about NeNe's finances and why she was able to cop $1 million home, but she doesn't even have $1 million in the bank. Okay. It's clear to me in terms of NeNe being shook at Bethany's financial situation that Bethany actually invested her money rather than living solely off checks from actively working, which is why Bethany is sitting with her feet up on acres of land in one of 3 of her mansions, while NeNe is down there to the ghettos of Buckhead buying stamps and selling plasma. Okay, I think that something that has to be of massive importance and priority as Black and brown people is financial literacy, especially at a time where Black and brown folk have so many opportunities and avenues to get big bags, but it'll all be in vain if we don't know what money really is and how to utilize it. Money should never be the destination, but a tool to support us to the destination. Money has to begin as a mindset rather than as a means, in my personal opinion. And I think there are a lot of Black and brown talent, because a lot of the Love and Hip Hop girls went broke. A lot of these, you know, Black celeb reality stars have gone broke, girl. We've seen them down there at Target, you know, shopping in the discount section and things. And I think it's because of the lack of financial literacy that a lot of the Black and brown community really lacks and suffers from. A lot of these working Black talents are literally just actively working and trying to maintain their high-end lifestyle through being consistently employed, when they really should be investing and flipping their coin. Okay, we know that Billy Porter went broke during the writer's strike to the point that he has had to sell his dream home because he wasn't working anymore. And that's ridiculous. It's considering how much these folk get paid, that your money should be secular. These people can afford accountants. They can afford to be in business with the best investors, brokers, etc. Like, these people got money and they have the means to educate themselves and to partner with people who understand the power of money. There is no reason for these folk, you know. NeNe was one of the highest paid housewives when she was on the show. She signed a contract that was as much as her home. As much as her home. I'm not talking about the rich people that shop in Target. I'm talking about the broke ass folk who used to be rich who shop in Target. Erica. Okay? Rihanna is in Target because she checking on her cosmetic line. She checking on Fenty down there on the Target shelves. Okay, she got real business in Target. Okay, but yeah, all of that. So hopefully NeNe will take her mistakes and experiences and improve upon her tomorrow with them. I'm happy that she's going to be coming back, and I'm looking forward to seeing her in entertainment again. Now, speaking of from riches to the welfare line, okay, let's go back to sharing this old nasty piece of screen. Continue to thumbs up, you guys. We almost got 300 folk in the building tonight. Thumbs up, okay? From the riches to the welfare line, Miss Blac Chyna, a.k.a. Angela White. Girl can't make up whether she's going broke or just trying to scam her baby daddies. Girl. So you all may have heard months ago back in February that Blac Chyna did an interview with TikToker Mr. Lewis and insinuated that she was going broke and only had $3,000 measly dollars in her checking account, despite having businesses and living in a $3.8 million home. Now, catch this. She said Angela White is broke, which seemingly was making a distinction between the woman and mother and her persona, Blac Chyna. Now, sped up, Chyna is in a custody battle currently with rapper and baby daddy Tyga over their son King Cairo. Page 6 reported that she has had to sell her assets because she's no longer selling her ass on OnlyFans, such as her cars, purses, etc. She had to apply for an income and expense declaration in LA on October the 2nd of 2023, which is a person's financial info, which in this case revealed that she only had a few thousand in the bank. She stated that as she was suffering losses in her business, that she also witnessed an increase in profits. She also stated that selling her belongings to friends and companies like The Real are only temporary solutions, as she will run out of items to sell. So not only does she want equal custody, she wants Tyga to pay her $125,000 fucking tab in legal and accounting fees. Now, Tyga responded by telling Chyna to stick to her Saturday to Monday schedule with their son and that he pays for everything anyway. And Rob Kardashian has likened the same sentiments about covering sole cost of childcare for their daughter, in which he contributes $35,000 toward a year, and Tyga provides $40,000 toward their son. Now, where shit for me gets hella confusing at is Chyna said in a recent interview on Entertainment Tonight that she's selling all of her shit to get rid of negative energy and not because she's broke. I want you guys to listen to this sound bite here. Let me go ahead and change over my microphone and you guys can hear Chyna talking about her current situation, okay? Which to me is a little inconsistent, child, with the narrative she's spinning in court, girl. All right? Listen to this.
Where did you reach the point where you said, I need to sell my personal belongings in order to get by? That was a little bit of a shock to me when I read that in the court.
You know what? I feel like a lot of things hold energy, right? And we had discussed this before, and I just kind of wanted a fresh start. And I don't think nothing's wrong with selling like your old stuff.
No.
Like people have eBay, people sell their old cars, they get their old cars back and all these different things. But for me, I feel like now at this point in my life, I don't really value materialistic things. Yeah, it looks nice, but it's like, why go out and grind and hustle for this money to go and spend it on something that could potentially just disappear, walk about your house. You might leave it somewhere. Somebody could rob you, steal from you and all of that. That's why I kind of like also stepped away from wearing a lot of flashy jewelry and all those good things like Rolexes. You see all these stories on the blogs and the internet, and I feel like I'm a target already.
Okay, let me change the microphone back over. All right, so you guys heard her. Okay, Angela White talking about, you know, she's selling shit to get rid of the demons in her house and shit, child. Now, to turn confusion into all-out dizziness, Blac Chyna sat down with Carissa Please on Reebok, and I believe that she stated in that interview that she was fine financially and she didn't need the help from her baby fathers. So before I go any further, Reckless, what are your thoughts about Blac Chyna going broke, apparently? And what do you think about her telling the courts that she's going broke and that's why she's selling her shit, but then telling the public that she's selling her things because, you know, she just wants to get rid of the bad juju and all of the bad energy and all of the, you know, she's doing a spiritual cleansing, if you will. Do you find this contradictory?
I'm just gonna, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay. That sound clear because I changed my position.
Yes, you can
Okay.
sound clear.
I'm gonna be honest. In terms of Blac Chyna, whatever makes her happy. It's like I don't like. When it comes to Blac Chyna or Angela White, I don't even have a desire to even give an opinion. Like and this is me 100% honest and transparent. Like I don't even try to follow up with her, even when I see stuff in like that's just her. Okay, if she's Disney, let her be Disney. If she's selling it because she wants to get rid of demons, get rid of them demons, baby. If you're selling it and telling the course because you ain't got enough X, Y, whatever works for you, do what you gotta do. Like I please, I don't know, girl. I don't know, girl. That's all I got to say for Angela White. I don't know.
So I want y'all to buckle your seatbelts, baby. And Blac Chyna, I'm sure she needs to hear exactly what the hell I'm about to say and deliver to her. With all things considered and said by the ex-stripper, it's given very much so I'm coming for my baby daddies, or I come up in the name of custody and child support. Because all that coin I made popping my Baphomet pussy, I spent on designer bags and Peruvian wigs rather than stock shares and bonds to secure me and my children's future. So now let me rob Tigger and Rob for their stash that they took time to cultivate rather than get my ass an accountant and a dope boy, okay, to show me how to in fact flip this motherfucking 3K left in my bank account, okay, and also get me a yoga instructor so that they can teach me discipline so that I know how to tame my wallet. What makes this even more disappointing for me personally is that Blac Chyna doesn't even genuinely want more time with her kids. She's only objectifying them in the name of not working at CBS, and her love of money would even bring her to disturb a perfectly working co-parenting situation, which affects her children first and foremost, just to avoid the consequences of her own actions. Okay, I'm disappointed because it's disingenuous and her needs are being put before her children's, who are in sound and grounded situations as we speak. Now, Chyna, you got baptized last year and you've been professing Jesus. Well, Jesus told a rich man once to give his wealth to the poor and to follow him. So you having to sell all your shit seems to be right on script with the spiritual journey you claim you are on. See, Jesus really applying pressure to your relationship to money and materiality because this was a part of your spiritual sickness, okay, that infringed upon your relationship to the Father, Son, and the Holy Daughter. So the woman who lost her soul to gain the world may be called to lose the world to restore her salvation, in fact. Okay, Chyna, I hope you didn't think the spiritual thing was some cute slogan that's about being positive and rubbing crystals all over your titties, because if so, baby, you're in for a rude ass awakening. This Christ thing is about actual wellness and eradicating karmic debt. This is the deepest elective surgery you'll ever undergo. This is a time for you to deepen, okay, your relationship to the Father rather than to attempt to be comfortable by lubricating the hardship by fixing yourself with the same thing that broke you, which was money. Your money problems are a result of your spiritual problems, Chyna. I'm praying for you, sis. And in the meantime, we gonna keep it moving along. Okay, I don't really think these folk be underestimating how the spiritual stuff works. It's just they ain't got no witch doctors, no personal psychics, no nothing on their team to let them know, girl, what to expect when you want to, be on a spiritual journey and you want to evolve as a person, honey. People don't understand that God gonna come through your shit like a wrecking ball, baby. Okay, it's gonna be a whole reconstruction era of your life, baby. You're gonna lose friends, you're gonna lose foes, you're gonna lose wigs, homes, child. Okay, all things touched by the enemy, baby, got to go. All things that's been poisoned by your evil and wickedness, child, it's just gonna be, traded off to Plato's closet, girl. Okay, you got to really be ready for this thing, honey. Okay, so I know it's gonna get hard, it's gonna get deep, but Chyna, you can do it. You've been on a good You've been on a good journey, but it might be time, girl, for you to find you a pastor and someone who can, you know, teach you about the ways of heaven, girl. Okay, because I think you are indirectly sabotaging your shit, but nonetheless, moving it along. Speaking of broke and destitute, Tamar Braxton and her white vanilla king have confirmed and nuanced their breakup. As y'all may know, Tamar's SUV was burglarized a few weeks ago, which led to her stating that she is not safe anywhere and has no one to protect her, which raised suspicion on the status of her relationship to J.R. Robinson. Okay, some speculate that this is what prompted J.R. to speak out in defense of himself, so he clarified, okay, in this here statement, which I don't even think I have up here. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna have to do something real quick, bruh. I forgot to cue his statements up. Let me see some. Is this one of them statements? Yes, it is. And is this another one of them statements? Oh, yes, it is. Okay, hold on, y'all. We coming, child. Damn, how many statements the bitch made? Oh, girl, that's another one. Hold on. I'm gonna have to... This statement gotta go way down there. Hold on. Thumbs up the video too, child. Okay. All right, let me share my screen, child. Okay. This is what JR had to say about his breakup to Miss Tamar Braxton. All right. Quote. So many questions. Hold on. Can y'all see this? Yes, you can. So many questions, so many assumptions. I want to answer all that I can with respect. Yes, Tamar and I are no longer together, the attorney shared in a message posted to his Instagram story on October the 1st. Quote, I ended their relationship to focus on getting back to positive energy and being a better person. What happened and why, that's our private place, he continued, explaining that the details of why they called it quits about 7 months after getting engaged during the final episode of Peacock's Queen's Court would remain private. Okay. He also said, I have always represented famous people, and truth is, I was in an amazing place financially and mentally. I turned down Queen's Court several times before I gave in, he wrote. Ultimately, I fell in love, and it did not end how I wanted. So I wanted to heal. Tamar and I will always be friends and family for life. Thank you for respecting our privacy, Robinson concluded. All right. Now, he also clarified that the split was not due to infidelity, nor did he have anything to do with the robbery. After Tamar let it be known that he broke up with her the same day that she was robbed, which made things even more awkward and suspicious. Okay. Now, of course, Tamar responded with a 4-page Insta story stating that she was shocked and that the devil is indeed a damn lie. Okay. Which means that her ass was indeed the problem. Reckless, what you think about this two splitting and him breaking up with her on top of that on the same day that her car was vandalized? Is it given set up, or what's the take?
The same way you get them is the same way you lose them. You met the man probably like a day or two before you married him. You
got engaged to him.
You got engaged to him. You didn't really know him like that. Well, before you tried to make a commitment, you didn't really know him like that. Girl, I don't know. Girl, Tamar is so mad. Girl, I don't. These people irritate my song. Tamar always got something going on. I'm gonna be honest with you, in terms of Tamar and her colonizer, they didn't really know each other like that. they probably had time to get to know each other later on, but you already know people like that. It's a possibility it could have been a setup. It possibly could have been a coincidence. But at the same time, I'm not really sure. I really do not trust Tamar Braxton's recall of events because she has a history of recalling something and it's the complete opposite from what actually happened. The same way how she didn't know what happened between her and Candy Burris, but however, I recall that she was doing a lot of things behind the scenes and also being very subtle and very because the thing is about it too is that I seen the post that she made and was being shady towards Candy, but she failed to actually say that. So she has a history of doing stuff, throwing stones, hiding her hand, and trying to play dumb. So only God knows at this point. That's all.
But you do know that we do have the surveillance in this case.
Well,
so
I guess it could have been. Well, it could be a setup. I don't know. You don't know the man, so that could be a setup. Shit, you are rich. You do got money. You do have you're a celebrity. You do have access. Shit, he probably did rob your ass.
Well, you know, we were trying to figure out the last time when we reported on the incident over here. We were trying to figure out what was going on because her statement that she's not safe and she has nowhere to go and she's a lone ranger and she's not protected. It raised the question, like I said, around what the status of her relationship was, because obviously, you know, your man would be surely a safe and stable place for one to run. And when we had went over to that old nasty piece of Instagram page, you know, she had deleted the majority of the pictures of them together. And he had still had his up on his platform, but it was given that something wasn't right in the buttermilk. Now we know more about what the context of her statement was. Okay. Here's my thing. Tamar was just caught being fake to Spice over the whole Erica Mena drama. Then she embellished the Candy and Todd situation, as you just mentioned, Reckless. Then Iyanla had to check her immaturity. So it was always clear to me that Tamar wasn't ready for any interpersonal relationship like marriage. So why she was looking for love before she loved herself, I don't damn know. In this case, I actually think them breaking up was in the best interest of them both. She got an attitude problem, and JR has an alleged knack for using and exploiting Black women, according to his ex-baby mama and girlfriends, okay? Tamar, in my opinion, needs much-needed therapy and a godmother, okay? She ain't been the same since Vince ran off with the bottom half of the refrigerator. And we ain't heard from Vince since he left her ass, so we can assume that he's at perfect peace, unlike her. Tamar, sis, you and Blac Chyna maybe can go on a spiritual retreat together, girl. Go hit some ayahuasca. Be renewed in the spirit, in y'all minds, and then possibly entertain being single for the rest of y'all lives. Because, you know, there's already, you know, one Black man for every several Black women, which means that if Black women are not in the business of polygamy or polyamory, that a good chunk of Black women's population is going to end up single, especially if they're also not attracted to any other race. And Tamar tried to divest and ended up reinvesting in damn Black men as a result. So reinvesting, baby. So girl, it's given sat down, Tamar. You need to go back to Iyanla Vanzant, godmother, apologize, let her, you know, bring you to a face-to-face confrontation with your bullshit, okay? Dip you in a baptismal pool and rejuvenate you, honey. What you call them balls that the ladies put up in their cooters, girl, the tight in the inner walls, Reckless? I know you know all about that because you put them in your anal walls. What's the name of them? Is it the Kegel? The Kegel?
Oh,
the Kegel?
Okay, so you're referring to like the stuff that you purchased for yourself. Oh, Kegels.
Kegel, see, Reckless knew it perfectly. Y'all heard all that perfect diction and things, honey. Kegels, baby, okay? Those big, round, thick balls that Reckless like to stuff up his rectum, girl, because he be out there, his anal hole is for the streets, girl. Okay, yes, Tamar.
Well, this is yoni pearls. Yoni pearls.
The yoni pearls, girl. Go get Missy Yonla and use some yoni pearls, honey, and you'll be like brand new sugar. Okay? Moving it along. All right. We got TGIF, girl. Speaking of running off, child. Has been getting dragged for the past 3 weeks as a result of Claudia Jordan running faster from work than Kuta Kinte leaving the motherfucking plantation, okay? In her absence, Carolina Sanchez, T.S. Madison, and Dr. Damn Heavenly have attempted to fill in, along with Miss Quad, who recently stood in for Al Reynolds. And the fans, girl, they really ain't been here for none of it, bitch, okay? They've been trying to tolerate the guest. They've been trying to, trying to figure out what's going on. Now, Claudia is indeed returning back on Monday, okay? Because she's tired of y'all fucking with her on Instagram, okay? So she'll be back in the front seat doing what she do best, hosting. But let's get into some of the controversy, okay? First thing I want to do is critique TGIF as it relates to the way they maneuver in the absence of their co-stars. It doesn't make much sense to me, okay, for any guest host to be the actual host. I think that's way too much responsibility. Like, there's no reason why Carolina or T.S. Madison or Dr. Heavenly should have been actually behind the wheel of the vehicle. They're the guests. I think that's too much pressure on the guests. I think it's too much responsibility. Why not have your seasoned co-stars like Al or Funky Dineva to actually do the hosting, so that your guest hosts only have the burden of doing what they do best, which is ad-libbing, which is, giving their side commentary, etc. Why, in fact, have a newbie doing all of that, trying to control the conversation, trying to navigate the conversation, trying to keep up with the teleprompter, that's too much for a guest. Way too much, okay? So I don't understand that. That's weird to me. I want to get into also, let's critique some of the guests. I know you don't really watch the show, Reckless, but do you have any thoughts on Dr. Heavenly, Carolina Sanchez, and T.S. Madison? I guess starting with Dr. Heavenly. Did you enjoy Dr. Heavenly as a co-host?
I'm gonna be honest with all of the guests. It was kind of here and there. He was like, I could do without. It doesn't really matter. The only one I was really excited to see, honestly, was T.S. Madison, personally. But I was underwhelmed. She didn't deliver the way that I thought she would. Especially since her and Funky Dineva have a personal relationship, and that connection chemistry does translate well on camera, and I'm pretty sure off camera as well. And so I just expected more of that chemistry and more of to see more of Madison's personality whenever she would be on TGIF. Now, keep in mind, I haven't watched the later episodes because, I just haven't watched them. So maybe it did, eventually come out. But I understand that. I think the thing when it comes down to Madison is that I've seen her on the Queen's Court. I've seen her do Hot Topics. I've seen her in that light. And so when I seen her on TGIF, which I do understand since it's not on YouTube. Well, it is on YouTube, but it's connected to a major platform. She's just not going to be as raw and uncut as she would be on the Queen's Court or the Queen's Supreme Court. but I was still expecting that same spice, that same jazziness from her that I always love, but I just didn't get that. I felt like she was trying to. She was almost like a robot at times, for me personally. But I will say this because I say this all the time about the show. Now, in terms of the show, personally, I like the show. Even though I don't watch it all the time, I like the show. But I would like for them to have more people, more panelists, because I feel like with Al, Claudia, and Funky, they do have diverse opinions. But I would love for them to have some more people with some more diverse opinions. And I feel like, for me personally, I would love to see that.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna go down the roster. What's going on, Tremel?
Hey,
Y'all
Tremel.
know we haven't talked about Sexyy Red yet. She's coming up in a few. Did you want the link, Tremel? Because I was gonna ask you to be a part of this tonight, but I figured you was probably out popping your puss in the Atlanta streets, child. Aya says that I think it makes sense because they're filling in for Claudia. It doesn't make sense to put inexperienced people behind the wheel of a show and literally put them behind the control panels. Like, why would you do that? That does not make any sense. Like, don't literally get them to fill in for Claudia. Like, yeah, fill Claudia in, but don't put them in the position Claudia is in, because Claudia is the one who really keeps up with the producers and the teleprompter, etc. Once again, these are guests. It's no need for them to even have to take time to even figure out that dynamic, because this isn't even their permanent placement to begin with. They're only filling it in. So why put more responsibility on your guests than what you really have to? It just doesn't make sense. Like, I know I wouldn't appreciate being in that position as a guest who's only going to be there for a day or 4 or 5, etc. Like, it's going to make me nervous as hell. I'm already going to be nervous to begin with, because it's already hard to be introduced into a situation that's already pre-made, where people have already gotten used to the ensemble cast. It's very hard to be received in situations like this. And then on top of me having to entertain a new crowd and be a new face and new addition and bring my energy into this shit, I also got to be responsible for making sure that we go to commercial and making sure that we talk about sponsors and making sure that we keep up with the time frame. That's just, it's too much for a guest. Why do that when you have accessible to you 2 other prominent talents who already know how all this goes? That will lead the show to go off without a hitch and to be more fluid. It does not make sense to me. Now, in terms of the co-host, I'm going to have to share some of Reckless sentiments. Carolina is cool. Out of everybody, she probably comes the closest in terms of reminding me of Claudia a little bit. I think she got, a little bit of jazziness in her. She was very professional. It gave very much so Girl Next Door. So it was all right. Like, she's cool. I can deal with Carolina. Dr. Heavenly, girl, like, cease and desist immediately. Cease and desist. Now, Dr. Heavenly just, girl, it don't be giving Heavenly. I'm just gonna say that much. And the only thing I do appreciate as it relates to Heavenly is the fact that she stirred up Al Reynolds' ass to the 10th power, baby. Because I ain't never seen Al press like that since he been on Fox Soul, girl. But the fact that him and Dr. Heavenly had a whole domestic violence situation going on the damn show, girl, she had to stir the Al up, baby. Him and that damn BBL girl was hot and pressed, baby. So I enjoyed seeing it get real spicy, but overall, it's a no for me when it comes to Heavenly. Now, to Reckless's point about TS, y'all know I live for TS Madison. Shout out to Baby Mother Madison, girl. Love her down boots. But it was very clear that that TS Madison held the fucks back. That she was not her full self. I do not like when T.S. Madison get all like prim and proper and palatable and get all toned down, because it really takes away the thing that makes her her. Like, T.S. is really funny. T.S. is really charismatic. T.S. Madison, like, I wanted her to come on those 5 days and show her ass, but she was real, girl, she was real tanked, girl. She was real domesticated. She was real pulled in. It was like almost way too pulled in, girl. Like, to the point that anybody could have came and gave what T.S. Madison gave. I wasn't expecting that. And then someone just said in the chat to expound upon what I just said. Let me find the comment. Somebody just said that T.S. Madison admitted on her platform that she was actually holding back. I can't find the comment, but that she was holding back. And yeah, and you can tell. My philosophy is, when people call you to their shit, they're calling you to their shit for you to be you on their shit. So there's no need to pipe down and to hold back when you're the one being sought after. Your persona, your edge, your energy, your swag, your drip is what's in demand. Okay, so the last thing you do is hold back on being you when you're literally being sought out for being you. So I feel like T.S. Madison really could have slayed it, but for whatever reason, she got in her head, and she got in her head that she needed to be more palatable for a situation like this. But they get real ghetto on TGIF. They cuss, they drag, they get canceled, girl. They get into some things, honey. So it's not like some cookie cutter, show. They get into the shits. So, I definitely was expecting a lot more stomp from T.S. Madison. So hopefully in the next go around, T.S. will, hit it. Absolutely, ayo. They should have rang the bell, baby. Okay? Came over there and stirred our whole situation up. In terms of what Reckless said about them adding in a castmate, I do like the dynamics of the three amigos. I think Al, Claudia, and Funky work well together. I think they have figured out their magic. I could see them adding one more addition to the show as well. Probably another lady. I think it wouldn't hurt. I don't think Fox would do that. They would have to extend the showtime and all of that. I'm not sure that they would. But yeah, it was my final suggestion is TGIF, maybe don't replace anybody. Like, if only one of the main castmates are missing, just let the other two hold it down. Because honestly, Funky and Al could have really held it together. They could have held it together. Funky is, he's the comedic relief, and Al is the one who's going to give you, the professional, nuanced breakdown of the story. And they really could have carried without a co-host. A lot of the fans were really asking, why not just have allowed Al and Funky to do it. And I will also say, yeah, consider maybe some of the YouTubers for that position. That'd be like, y'all can kind of piggyback off of what Candy Burris is doing with Candy Coated Nights over there. I think on or who said that, or whatever the hell it's called over on Candy's channel, girl, where she, allow YouTubers to come in, influencers to come in and collaborate with her. I think that'd be dope to give those opportunities to a lot of the personalities, such as myself, etc., Reckless, etc. An opportunity, girl, to end up in one of the squares and to bring it, honey. So yeah. And last but not least, girl, Foxo is learning that edit button real good, because I noticed that when T.S. Madison and Funky Dineva were gagging over the woman who had got eaten up by the alligator, you know, like half of her body was found in the alligator's mouth or whatnot, and Funky and T.S. was carrying on, girl, and gagging over that whole story. I noticed that when they had reposted the full episode later, that they had edited out, because when I caught the show in real time, there was a lot of people who were like low-key upset that they were making light of this homeless woman ended up in the jaws and the belly of a crocodile. And a lot of the people were not here for Funky and TS gagging over the situation. So I noticed that the producers must have edited out that portion for the main show, child. So y'all, if y'all smart fans and viewers, y'all better start checking out the live show, because sometimes it's gonna be shit that's gonna go down in that live show that ain't gonna be there when they put up, you know, the pre-recorded show. It's gonna be shit that's gonna be edited out of it. And you know, you can't rewind the live show, so you got to see it in real time. Okay, so if you don't want to miss stuff, you got to catch that live show, baby, because the producer's gonna edit out whatever need to be edited out and understand the assignment by the time that pre-recorded thing gets uploaded, child. All right. So moving along. Oh God, here we go, girl. Tramel's favorite bitch, girl. I don't even know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready, girl. I don't know if I'm ready for Miss Sexyy motherfucking Red. Y'all favorite female rapper, girl. She got a lot going on out here in the street, girl. There's a lot to talk about, okay? From this lip gloss line, to this music, girl, to the sex tape, girl, to Donald Trump. I don't even know where to get started. So where I'm going to get started at is I'm going to work backwards, okay? Sexyy Red recently, girl, was on a podcast and admitted that she is a Donald Trump supporter, girl. She wants to help Donald to make America great again, girl. And she feels like, you know, the Black community, girl, really fucks with the Trump administration, girl. That, you know, he's good for Black folk and Black folk are good for Trump, girl. And that, you know, she will be casting in her vote to support him back in office, girl. All right. Now, before that had went viral, girl, she apparently, if you let her tell it, accidentally uploaded her own sex tape to Instagram, girl, okay? That went viral and came under much critique as well, okay? Fans were saying that she sounded like she was in a diabetic coma. She was huffing but not puffing.
Not fans. I said that.
No, they were actual fans. I'm not fans. I'm not like actual, yeah, like I saw the comments, girl. Like a lot of people were saying that the sex tape was not given, considering how nasty and demonic and vile and pornographic Miss Sexyy Red is, girl, that the sex tape was not living up to the sex tape, okay? Sexyy Red has came out since and said that she is heartbroken over how her fingers accidentally coordinated in such a way, girl, that it led to uploading her nastiness for all to see on Instagram, all right? Then, to add insult to injury, she done decided that, you know, in the words of NeNe Leakes, girl, she wants to come out with a product. And that product is that of a lip gloss line. Now, I want you all to take a listen to the names of these lip glosses, okay? In a recent interview with Interview Magazine, which dropped earlier this month, the rising rap superstar revealed that her next business move was getting a lip gloss line, okay? She said, y'all better shop with your girl. She said in the interview, I got all different flavors of lip gloss for y'all, from Coochie Juice to Booty Hole Brown to Coochie Pink to Sex on My Period, Gonorrhea, Yellow Discharge, and Nut. Okay? I'm just gonna let
the nut one took me out.
I'm just gonna let Reckless chime in real quick on all things Sexyy Red, girl. What you think about your favorite bitch
I don't know about that.
supporting Donald Trump, saying that she did not intentionally upload her sex tape, and this lip gloss line?
She's just a hot mess. And for one, she's not my favorite bitch. I don't even listen to her music, honestly. She's a mess. Me personally, she's not my style of person to watch, listen to, etc. She's a bit much for me personally. Yeah, there's too much going on. For one, you support Donald Trump. Now, I can't understand from policy perspective how he is, quote unquote, good for melanated communities, etc., 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 because I have been in those conversations, whatever. But on a social level, he does gaslight racist, members of KKK meet, like, those individuals, the Proud Boys, etc. So it's like, yeah, he gives one, but he also takes away at the same time. So, girl, make it make sense. Now, in terms of her and these damn lip glosses, like I said, she's a bit much for me. When it comes down to her posting that picture where the caption says, I already have the STD. All I need is you to make stud. It's just a bit much. It's a bit much. It's a bit much. And then her quote unquote not releasing her sex tape. Honestly, I didn't think it was gonna hurt her brand, because that's actually right on brand. And me actually coming across being on Twitter, well, formerly known as Twitter, but now it's called X. Shout out to Elon Musk. Her sounded like she was snoring at times. Like, I was watching, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, as much, like, she sounded like she was snoring. At least to me. When I was like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, that's really all I have to say. It's like, she's just a bit much for me. I kind of don't pay attention to her. I don't listen to her music. If I come across a picture, I'm like, oh, okay, if she looks cute, she looks cute. If she doesn't, she doesn't. So I kind of just pay her no mind, honestly. I'm doing what healthy people should do. People that you do not find your cup of tea, people that you do not take a liking to, you don't pay them any mind. So yeah.
Hey Tramel, welcome to the platform. Oh, okay. He got kicked off, girl.
Ooh.
A partial payment tease. He'll be back.
Ooh.
I have quite a bit to say about Sexyy Red. Reckless knows that a few days ago, against my better judgment, I attempted to really make fetch happen. Okay? By saturating myself, giving myself a Sexyy Red day. Okay? Where I just endured her music. Okay? And the perfect term for my experience was enduring. All right. And I watched all of her music videos, and I listened to all of her songs and listened to all of her remixes. And because I want to start with the music first. Okay. Because I've been seeing Sexyy Red pop up, but and I'm aware of Booty Hole Brown as a thing, but I hadn't even heard that song fully. I just knew she was something that was on the rise. Okay. And girl, it was a chop for me. Okay. The music alone, I felt like I was listening to a comedian parody rap. I thought the City Girls were god awful when it came to rapping and rapping off beat. this bitch, like, her and Blueface must have came out of the same musical womb. Okay, because the way that they zigzag over the beat, baby, the way that they hopscotch, it sounds like both her and Blueface are doing one of those DUI testing, girl, and they're drunk boots trying to walk a straight line, but are doing everything but walking a straight line. That's what Sexyy Red sounds like over an instrumental, girl. Like, not only is her rap not rapping, and she's literally running off the railroads over the beat, girl, but it also sounds like, especially when she has features, like AKA the Nicki Minaj remix, it sounds like Sexyy Red's part has a whole different mix and masters. Like, her shit sound like it's being recorded in a shower with the wooden wall in front of it, girl, some makeshift at-home studio, and then everybody else on the record sounds like clearly, professionally, masterfully mixed and mastered. Like, I was offended by the rapping itself and the lack thereof, and I was offended by the mastering and mixing, girl, because it was given very much so WIC voucher over an 808. Okay? It was a total insult to hippity fucking hop, girl. Like, the disrespect and dishonor of it all. I mean, no wonder hip hop is no longer the leading genre of music, girl, because this is how low the bar is set, girl, that the bar ain't even there, girl. Blueface and Sexyy Red have single-handedly taken hip-hop out of the highest grossing genre of music, girl. I think now it's what, country or rock and roll or some shit, girl. Thanks to whoever is making Sexyy Red a thing, okay? Then let me tell you how interesting this is, because see, y'all know I got third eye powers, baby. I'm a mutant, girl, okay? I'm one of the members of the X-Men and shit. I find it completely convenient that this sex tape gets accidentally released at a time where she also just recently stated in an interview that she doesn't understand why she's not a hot commodity amongst the rappers. She don't understand why nobody fucking her. Okay, they cool with her. They socialize with her. But why none of these rappers trying to back her and trying to drag her punani from one end of the Las Vegas Strip to the other end of the Las Vegas Strip? Okay, so in my calculated Scorpio intuitive third eye ass mind, I believe that, of course, Sexyy Red, first and foremost, absolutely uploaded her own damn sex tape, and it was no accident, baby, okay? It's very difficult to accidentally upload anything to Instagram or to an Insta story, but she really did that because she is trying to raise the social equity on her coochie meat and trying to show all these rappers who she won't to back her, whose bed she want to end up in, whose sheets she want to end up under. She's trying to add desirability upon herself, but she knows that she also won't get no cool points for acting desperate, so she didn't have the balls to willfully upload her shit proudly and to own it and to say, hey, I got an OnlyFans. Go ahead and check that out over there. She knew that would come off as way too desperate because she's in the business of pretending to be a bad bitch. So she can't be desperate. So it had to be on accident that her tired ass sex tape get uploaded, honey. Because she, for real life, out here trying to be for these streets, baby. And she's trying to make it happen by any means necessary, even if it involves, okay, publishing her own sex tape. Now, because of the nicknames or the names of these lip glosses, I was completely and utterly disinterested in hearing and looking at that sex tape for myself. I was afraid that gonorrhea was going to come up off the screen at me. I was afraid that crabs was going to explode out of 4K, girl, all over my face. I was afraid that syphilis was going to come erupting out of the screen, girl. I was so afraid, bitch. Okay? Because of her glamorization and her interest in STIs, E's, and damn D's, bitch, that I was utterly disinterested, baby, and wanting to see Sexyy Red in any type of a sexual anything, bitch, okay? So I spared my damn self, okay? The seizuring and the diabolicalness and the demonic transference of it all, baby, okay? I spared myself personally. Now, speaking of the lip gloss line, I think this is where we can clearly make a distinction, okay? Because for all of those who've been arguing about the hypersexualization of female rap and this, that, and the third, girl, Sexyy Red is a stark contrast to the Lottos and the Nickies and the Cardis and the Megan Thee Stallions of the world, okay? I always could appreciate sexuality from women because I feel like women deserve as much agency and deserve to be able to own and stand in their sexual energy and all of that, girl. Okay, period. It's theirs to do. But I damn sure don't have even more of an issue because Sexyy Red make all those other female rappers look like virgins at a Catholic school. There is something really gutter butt about Sexyy Red. It is giving very much so Make America Ghetto Again. Sexyy Red gives very much so Black girl raised in a trailer park tease. There is something really tacky and just stank about Sexyy Red, and I really hate this for her. I really hate this for her because she sings like a nice woman, but I cannot get past, fall in love, or find any redeeming quality in a non-rapping, tacky dressing, elementary done tattoo wearing woman who has a lip gloss line named after STDs and nut. It's disgusting. And it's very polarizing. And it puts a literal bad taste in my mouth when I think about Sexyy Red, girl. There is nothing sexy about wearing syphilis on my lips. There is nothing sexy, girl, about wanting to put gonorrhea on my top lip, honey. I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's funny. I don't think this is shit that should be sensationalized. It's one thing, in the words of Cardi, to want a nigga to spit in your mouth and to put his big Mack truck inside of your little garage. And then it's another to literally try to make fetch happen, to make gonorrhea on the lips happen. That's just not necessary. I can get with hypersexuality. I can get with Lil' Kim and the Notorious K.I.M. saying, I like for him to stick it in the booty, lick the nut off, and stick it back in the cootie. I can get with those lyrics because that's all just sexual nastiness. I can get with the sexual shit. But gonorrhea on my lips, why? Syphilis on my lips, why? Asshole juice on my lips, why though? Why? Why? I feel like I can smell Sexyy Red through the screen, girl. I feel like I have to be boiling Fabuloso and lighting incense when I'm watching her, girl. It just gives dirty. It just gives like rank. It just, I don't know why she would want to give that. I know she would want to give that because that's how desperate people feel they have to be at a time like this, where everybody is trying to carve out an individual lane for themselves and everybody is trying to stand out. So everybody is going to the fucking extreme, girl, to bring attention to themselves. But my God, today, Sexyy Red, wouldn't you have better odds just actually being a great rapper? Like, girl, you're not putting that energy where it should be, bitch, which is these rap skills that you are totally lacking, girl. Where is Monique and Charm School when you need her? Now, this gives a whole new appreciation to Sukiyana, bitch. Because Sukiyana would never. I'm not here for Sexyy Red. Maybe if the musicality added, like if the musicality part was up, maybe I could tolerate, you know, the trailer park antics. But even Sukiyana is an okay rapper. Sexyy Red just absolutely does not have it. So to round up my points about her, then I'm going to let Tramel have it. Between endorsing Donald Trump, glamorizing sexually transmitted infections, the low-grade musical quality and lyricalness of it all, Sexyy Red is giving me industry plant, bitch. At this point, right now, if you ask me, girl, I believe that Sexyy Red has been endorsed and intentionally put into the equation, into the algorithm, girl, to help put a period on the death of Black culture, girl. Like, I feel like she has been intentionally inserted into the algorithm, girl. They were already using all the rappers and they ghetto-ness and they thuggery and they gangsterness and all of that shit, girl, to just bring the morale down. Then Sukiyana came crawling all on the ground and throwing up on the dick on OnlyFans. And then, girl, they have just put the ultimate period on the end by sensationalizing Sexyy Red. This bitch is being used, girl, to collapse the Black community entirely, girl. Between endorsing Donald Trump, having gonorrhea as a lip gloss, being desperate to be fucked by male hoes in the industry, and not, in fact, being an actual rapper, girl. I cannot. Take me out of the goddamn group chat. And you know, bitch, you know this must be a unique circumstance, girl, for me to speak against, you know, the female rap shit, because I never critique the hypersexuality of it all, because I don't mind that. But I want to be clear This is not hypersexuality. This ain't sexuality. This is the glorification of the perverse. This is the glorification and the sensationalism of the perverse, the downtrodden, the hellbound, the all-out disgusting. I can't take it, girl. I'm one of the most open-minded bitches you'll ever meet in the world, girl. This girl, where we going, bitch? I have been drawing a lot of lines, girl. I can't take, girl. Some of this shit that's coming up and out of society, girl, I can't take it. I can't take, girl. It's team too much. I can't. But welcome to the platform, Tramel. Your thoughts on Sexyy Red endorsing Donald Trump, gonorrhea on the lips, her as a rapper MC. What are your thoughts about just her entire existence and swag?
Hey y'all.
Hi.
That was a lot.
It was. Oh, I want to make mention of this before you chime in. I find the hypocrisy of it all as well to be completely full-fledged, because just a few weeks ago, y'all was canceling Justin J for being a open gay man who is open about his HIV positive status, who is on his meds and undetectable, but still enjoys unprotected sex. And y'all dragged him because this HIV positive man who cannot even transfer HIV has unprotected sex with his partners, who he does inform about his status. And yet, Sexyy Red is able to happen. Yet, Sexyy Red is able to glorify, normalize, pacify the ultimate recklessness of sex. I think there is a Sexyy Red lyric that even talks about her seeking out an STD from a nigga. Like, put it up in me type lyrics. But yet had the nerve to crucify a HIV positive man who's open, transparent, taking care of himself, and can't even transfer the HIV. But Sexyy Red is allowed to put her gonorrhea-drenched lip glosses on the shelves and glorify the seeking and the contractions of it all. No real pushback. Justin Dado, dragged. Damn near canceled. Sexyy Red, straight to the top, girl. Getting diamond-infused, diamond-encrusted watches, getting endorsed by rappers, getting upheld by the Black community, honey. Nicki Minaj co-signing. Justin Dado, dragged down boots. Dragged down boots. Okay. Anyway, take it away, Tramel.
Well, I watched the video. And I just found it quite funny. I was like, damn, girl, is that bad out here? I just think she's a young girl. She's only like 24 years old, 24, 25. And I don't think most people know that her actual, where I became familiar with her, I guess, it was a reminder that she did that little spoof song from 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton. I don't know if y'all know. She said, you have to look it up. It's like, I'm walking through the hood smelling good, and I'm some shit like,
oh yeah, I do remember that.
Bam, 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 or whatever she was. So she was never really like a rapper, and I think that the song Pound Town was really funny. but I didn't actually expect it to be like a career bound song. I just thought it was like a funny spoofy type song. You know, my pussy paint, my booty hole brown. Like, okay, that's funny. Her actually becoming a artist and, you know, running around and actually performing it all over the world at this particular time. Yeah, that's her.
I had no idea that was her. Wow. I remember that video and all.
She
Wow.
was young then. That
Mm-hmm.
was a long time
It
ago.
was a long time ago.
So she been at this for a little while. So I guess for her, this is like her big break. So I mean I get it. I don't know who picked her up out of that, the viral circle or whatever. And how she's getting so much fame and popularity now. I think it's because people are carrying her around. Like they are for real carrying her around. Like you said, people don't care about real music no more. So I'm not gonna, you know, do I believe that she's like? I mean, she's definitely destroying the community a little bit, a lot, because it's like that's what they see us as now. It's like if she's the
And I'm
top
not
of,
even worried about like, you know, like them, because white people have never respected black people, even when black people completely catered to respectability politics and had their pants up and had their dresses down to their feet and had their hair did every day and had Black Wall Street. White folk destroyed all that shit. So I don't really be giving a fuck about how white people feel, because white people don't disrespect us because of the way we show up. They disrespect us because of what they inherently believe about blackness. But it's concerning what we ourselves support. That be what be shaking me. I don't be giving a fuck about the conversation about what outsiders see us as, but it be what we be participating in from the inside that be interesting to me. But go ahead.
yeah, I feel the same. Like I'm not even worried about that part. It's just that when black people, like, you know, they say back in the day, like, oh, the best of us like have to be 20 times better than our white counterparts, our non-black counterparts, just to be seen and to be heard and stuff like that, to be considered talented and to make half as much money. Now look at us, like, now we have a Sexyy Red who's definitely not the best of us, not black excellence to say the least, and she's literally pussy popping in front of like gospel officials and gospel singers and stuff at the BET Awards, and it's like, where have we gone? This is our
The
front runner.
hell,
Like we
apparently.
are not winning no Grammys with this. We are not getting indoctrinated into the Hall of Fame with this. We are not getting the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame no more.
But you know
We're
what's
not
so
gonna
funny
get no
though?
star on the goddamn Hollywood
White
walk.
supremacy will probably spite us though, Tremel, by giving a Grammy. Like, because white supremacy will participate in us embarrassing ourselves. So they probably will reward. Like, I can see white supremacy rewarding Sexyy Red for Booty Hole Brown, because they know it will just like chronicle.
You think she gonna be at the Grammys next year?
Look, the way that white supremacy be colluding with black ratchetness, which is why black ratchetness is a thing. So yes, I could see. I'm not saying she will, but I wouldn't be surprised if white supremacy rewards Sexyy Red for the low down disgustingness of it all, because they get to make sure that that's a part of our history. They get to make sure by giving it a Grammy, by giving it
That diminishes us. Yeah, I could see that.
Or best new artist of the year. They like, it's such an opportunity for white supremacy to gag the fuck out of us on the books by rewarding and trophying the bullshit of it all.
So what do we do in these? I'm posing a question, but it's really like one of the rhetorical questions. Like, what do we do in those instances where we know that we see that black talent is in danger, like true black talent, like people who actually put in the work, who actually sit down, go to school for theater, actually go take vocal lessons, actually go work on their craft and work on being better MCs, better engineers, get their music done, mastered correctly, and are able to rap on a beat and actually have something very powerful to say. What happens to the Kendrick Lamars? What happens to the J. Coles? What happens to them? Like, they're not going to be seen as talented anymore, because this will be the standard of talent, and that anybody can get in there and just make anything up. You have more blue faces, you'll have more Sexyy Reds, so for artists like me, it's very deterring to see that, I'm out here throwing around my goddamn name left and right, and my music is good. I actually worked really hard on my music. Like, I sit there and I practice and I practice and I practice, taking vocal lessons like for years. And, I've built myself up to a particular point where I am, in my mind and it's starting to reflect in my streams, but I've not gotten the type of trajectory a Sexyy Red or a Blueface has gotten, because I'm not overly polarizing when it comes to the things that I sing about. I sing about true, like, love and feelings and stuff like that, but they're singing about, like, the most abstract things. Like, literally, this girl got up on a mic and said "ski yee," and y'all is running around like, what? I'm looking for the Uji Day ski. Like, I could do that, but that would not be something that's going to sustain me forever. But possibly it could in this particular climate. It's like so weird that, like, this thing is changing. And I tell my friend Carl, he does music. He got a song called Bunny Pussy. Now, he was the first original. Like, I'm like, girl, what the fuck are you making? But, like, I'm like, that's the type of music you need to be making if you want to make it at this point. I said, go make something real, real stupid. I tell him all the time, go make something real stupid and let's see what happens. He got a song called Cock Goblin that he about to put out. I'm like,
period.
I'm like, okay, we're going to see how that works. I mean,
see, I don't mind sexual music though, Tremel. Like, I don't mind sexual as a genre, as a sexual being, as an adult. I appreciate adult content, so I can deal and appreciate raunchiness and appreciate sexuality, whether it's sexuality that oozes through R&B or sexuality that oozes through rap and hip hop. But, I can appreciate it. So, Dick Goblin and Pete Pussy and all of that, I can get with it, but it's the glorification of sexually injuring yourself and willfully doing so.
I mean, that is crazy.
I don't understand how that. I don't understand how is that able to happen, but I understand how it's able to happen, because there is an agenda at work, and they've been working on our morale for a very long time by using the coons, the tap dancers, the mammies, and the pappies of it all in order to do this psychological damage to the Black community and to mock us by living vicariously through other Black people who are willing to be clowns and court gestures before the world. And so I get it, but the fact that we see it happening and we don't even have the will to will ourselves away from it and to turn the dial and to remove our actual support, and that we're at such a place where there is massive consumer value for this type of perverseness is terrible. And I know countries where they have major censorship on their music because they understand the hypnotic power of music and its impact on the collective mind. They understand the hypnotic power of vibrations and lyrics and how that contributes to the way that communities, the way that young people see themselves and see each other. They understand the science and relationship between music and consciousness. But in America, unregulated and capitalistic as fuck, which then means that there is no boundaries. As long as it can create a dollar, that's all that ultimately matters. And it doesn't matter at the expense of who, at the expense of how many, at the expense of what, in fact, our morality, our ethics, our values. Doesn't matter the side effects or the damage. If it can create a dollar, green lighting it, it is.
True. I mean,
And yeah, I am saddened for singers and artists like yourself who are making meaningful music and relatable music, because what we could relate to 20 years ago when we were just sitting up in our room, shout out to Brandy.
Yep.
Or when we didn't want to get down on the first night, shout out to Monica. Or when there was a meeting in the bedroom, shout out to Silk. Like, what y'all are trying to sustain in terms of relatability isn't even relatable anymore. Because the people have moved so far away from emotionality. People have moved so far away from being connected to their heart and their feelings. People are actually doing everything to not feel in order to avoid rejection, in order to avoid falling in love. Those things are now being seen as a negative. And so listening to music that puts you in your feelings at a time where you can't even get somebody to give you a 2-minute conversation on an app because they can swipe left and they got 6-7 other people that they are catering to. The fact that, like, you're just one of many now. So like this, like, people don't even want to feel anymore, because to feel is to succumb.
It's weakness and to be vulnerable.
It's a weakness. It comes with vulnerability. It comes with developing expectations, all things in an era where people know their expectations are not being met, where they know they're going to be disappointed, where they know that finding meaningful connection is, amongst the minority now. So people are not interested in that music, because that music now makes them think of a sad reality, which is, why am I want to listen to R&B and get my hopes up about a future with somebody that actually may not even fucking happen, at a time where people are in complicated situations and people are just really wanting sex, or just wanting a situationship, and nobody really wants to do the real work. Nobody really wants a whole thing anymore. And so, no, I'm not going to listen to fucking music that makes me romanticize and ruminate over marriage and engagement and children, because, yeah, that fucking future seems bleak and unattainable at a time like this. So that creates the death of R&B.
It does. But I also feel like, and as you were saying that, it got me to thinking, like, the top musical artists right now are not, like you said, they're not hip hop artists. They're not these new rappers. They're not unfortunately, it's not the City Girls. It's not Sexyy Red. It's not Glorilla. Like, I mean, they're popular amongst the Black community. But then you have, like, people like Ice Spice, who makes, I actually like Ice Spice. Like, I actually really
love
like
that industry plant.
She is actually really, really dope. The way she handles herself, the way she controls a crowd nowadays, the way she actually does her music. But then you're also looking at, like, people like Beyonce, right? And Beyonce hasn't made, like, I mean, of course, her last album was Lemonade. So this album, Renaissance, is definitely more catering to good feelings, positive energy, and not being sad or anything like that. Like, it's definitely an album about, just celebrating your life. And that's what speaks to what you're talking about as far as, not catering to sad feelings and being vulnerable and stuff like that. Because literally that album is about liberation, freedom, and just being happy all the time and knowing that you're that bitch, like consistently. Of course, they have some good songs on there, like, you know, Virgo's Groove and Plastic Off the Sofa, that are meant to be loving, and but they're still like on a good positive note. There was no sad songs on her project. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even Beyonce is noticing off her, you know, her unplugged ass. She is even noticing that, like, yeah, I can't be singing about no sad shit right now with these people, because we're not in that space. She sees the Sexyy Reds, and she sees, but she's not going to be indulging in that. She's still going to make quality music. She's still going to put time and effort. Like, you can make quality, good music that means something to people, that can uplift people, that can keep people out of their feelings if they don't want to be in them. But you don't have to go to a place where you're just talking like real nasty and you're just throwing something together real quick just because you want to make sure you keep your little 15 minutes of fame. It's like, damn, it's like you tearing us down for real. Like, it's making artistry look stupid. And I'm not saying that all artists, because, you know, you ain't got you got Taylor Swift over there tearing it up too on the non-black side, and they ain't about to have that. You think the white people about to have a Sexyy Red over there on they time? No, they're gonna leave her over here to entertain us, and y'all gonna keep pushing her to the front because y'all think that she's the best of the best at this particular time. Like, there are so many female rappers who are trying so hard that are so much better than Sexyy Red, that have been really lyrical. I see them all the time on Instagram, and y'all got Sexyy Red on here, Booty Hole Brown, all over the country, walking around with stacks and stacks of money for no reason. I'm baffled. I am so baffled by the whole process. Like, there is a way to make good music and still keep your, not to say she ain't got no integrity, because that's between her and God, but there's a way to make good music and actually have talent and do it, and actually make music that people can connect to. Like, just take time and learn your stuff. The girl can't rap. I'm sorry, she can't rap.
The industry, the system did this shit on purpose. Like, it literally escalated social media, because the internet been here for a minute before social media became a thing. They introduced social media, escalated this ADHD, so that industries and institutions didn't actually have to put in the work to develop a sound product, because your attention span would only allow you to be focused on a gimmick, which works for these institutions because they're able to cut out the middle and not have to put in the work. All they got to do is just find an outrageous way to hold your attention. So now everything is about gimmick, which helps to alleviate the work ethic on these industries that don't have to really carve out a quality product, a quality product, whether that be an artist, whether that be a persona, whether that be etc. It's all about now just being able to grab your attention. So we live in this era now where even negative publicity is, in fact, good publicity. It's all beneficial. And it's all been by design, and at the expense of these industries wanting to find back doors and find the quickest way to the front of the line. It's come at the expense of the quality. And as a result now, yeah, we all suffer from some damn ADHD and attention deficit disorder. And to your point about Beyonce read the room and understood that we live in a grossly negative society in an upside down ass world. And she literally said that her album, which was inspired by her gay uncle, was also motivated by this dense culture. She wanted to make an album that made people feel good at a time where people aren't feeling good, at a time where people are struggling to keep it together, to hold it together, etc. And so I really appreciate Renaissance because it is a whole vibe. I took my vacation last year, and Renaissance was a big part of the soundtrack. And now I can't even listen to songs from the Renaissance album without thinking about the time in my life with somebody who is no longer even in my life because it's such nostalgia. But it was such a great time. But yeah, something is happening, and you know, the conversation can go on for days, but man, the community, we're gonna have to really wake up and really understand what's happening and understand the psychological warfare that is transpiring. I do want to move on to these last two topics. Quickly, young Pharaoh. Do you know who that is, Tremel?
Who is that?
So young Pharaoh is a infamous Hotep, aka Black supremacist out of the woke Hotep Dr. Umar sector of YouTube. He teaches, you know, the same old that white people are born in caves and their hair is in fact fur, and that Black people are the dominant, you know, species on the planet, and you know that, you know, he preaches all of that, you know. But he had a fall from grace, and he hasn't seen grace since. And a part of the Hotep agenda is homophobia and transphobia, okay? Most Hoteps, whether they are female or male, most Black supremacists are very homophobic and transphobic by nature. They believe that that is a European invention. It's a result of book breaking and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they have the typical homophobic rhetoric. So young Pharaoh has been vigilant in making sure that Black queer people understand that they are not a part of the Black movement, that they're not a part of the Black community. He's participated in being explicitly divisive in his rhetoric and his teachings. He has been very vocal in pushing back against homophobia and in homosexuality and transgenderism, etc. He was invited to a podcast where they were all discussing sexuality. There were queer people a part of the in-person sit down, same gender loving women, same gender loving men, and he almost got into a fist fight with one of the same gender loving women. Okay. So I found young Pharaoh's most recent live stream to be a deep interest, considering how much he has slandered, defamed, pushed back against, and just othered the living dog shit out of Black queer people. I mean, he has, I mean, the homophobe of all homophobes, the queerphobe of all queerphobes, the transphobe of all transphobes, okay, I mean, have made disgusting remarks about queer people. Does not support it, does not endorse it, don't want to be around it, don't think it should have visibility or a place in the Black community, in the Black experience, etc. I mean, you know, the superhero of the homophobes, girl. Well, you guys know that there's also a understanding, okay, out of psychological circles that most homophobes are in fact repressed homosexuals, okay? Repressed bisexuals, repressed pansexuals, repressed trans-attracted individuals, okay? And young Pharaoh has finally found a way to out himself without outing himself, because, you know, in metaphysics, the old occultic adage is all things must come to the light. So the enemy always finds a way to reveal themselves, okay? Without revealing themselves. But everything in nature, everything in creation is being compelled forward, okay? Is evolving, not devolving. Therefore, all truth must reach a breaking point. It must come to a boil. All truth must come to justice and be brought to the marvelous light, honey. Okay? And this young Pharaoh has found a motherfucking way, baby, to finally talk about the parts of his sexuality that are in the dark. I want y'all to hear this.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I want y'all to hear this. Because, baby, he got into some things, baby.
The way you set that up, ooh, I'm so excited.
Not excited.
Baby.
Not excited.
Did he set that up real cute? I'm like, oh my God, what is about to happen?
Baby, he got into some... Now...
Oh, that bitch thinks she's so slick, bitch. I know what you did, bitch.
Let me bring up this video.
Yeah.
Girl, young Pharaoh had me gagging. I was screaming, hollering. Okay, this is covered by fair use, girl. All right. Okay, let me put up my fair use disclaimer, child. Where's my fair use disclaimer? Hold on. All right, here we go. Covered by fair use for parody, research, analyzation, teaching, etc. Let me change over my mics so you guys can hear this straight from the horse's mouth. All right. Let's do it.
I mean, excuse me, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't want no white woman. And I don't want no Spanish woman like that either. Like I said, I want black. I want black. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you how real I'm gonna keep it right now. I'm about to tell y'all right now how real I'm about to keep it dead ass on this live. If anybody ever did anything to me homosexual, especially up until this point in my life at 30 years old, it was rape. And I want them charged with a crime. If anybody ever say they did anything to me homosexual, I'm gonna say that it was rape, and I want their ass charged with a crime.
Wow. So first of all, honey, I want y'all to clock the T. If I don't know who to clock the T here, young Pharaoh already told y'all he is telling y'all how he's going to get in front of his own scandal by saying that if anybody, if any trans woman, if any gay man ever come forward and claim they've had a same-sex experience with him, that he is going to say that he was sexually assaulted, that he is going to take the sexual assault route and say that he was drugged, he was inebriated, he didn't have all of his proper senses at the time, and that's gonna be his story, baby, and he's sticking to it, bitch, and he wants them to go straight to jail as a result, okay? You're fair, and we're not gonna play this whole live because he was live for 3 hours, girl, but he goes even more into these talking points, honey, okay? He's telling y'all what his cover story is going to be. If anybody ever come forward and make a claim that they done sucked his dick, ate his ass, made that ass clap in the dark, baby, okay, had him in 69 position with a dick in his throat, girl, that he was inebriated or drugged, some type of pharmaceutical medication was illegally in his system, girl, some type of a Spanish butterfly, some type of a mind mood altering substance, baby. Okay, was put in him, girl. He was held against his will and forced to be TransATTRACTED. He was forced to be a homosexual. Okay, let's continue to listen.
I said to say this. This is how bad I do not want to date a white woman.
Okay.
I would rather...
So this the part, girl. He's about to find a way, girl, to tell y'all that he's trans-attracted, girl. Okay? He gonna make it about his profound disinterest. Okay? in white women. This is his escape route to the truth, girl. This is his ladder. This is his trampoline to the truth. He's going to make it about being so disinterested in a white woman. Now, mind you, this was the same man who just a few months ago wanted nothing more than to be with white women, wanted nothing to do with black women, wanted nothing to do with the black and brown female. Literally only wanted Asians and white women. Now all of a sudden, he don't want to date white women. And now he about to use his alleged disdain for white women to admit something to y'all that's always been there, okay? Listen.
Like I said, I want black. I want black. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you how real I'm going to keep it right now. I'm about to tell y'all right now how real I'm about to keep it dead ass on this live. If anybody ever did anything to me homosexual, especially up until this point in my life at 30 years old, it was rape. And I want them charged with a crime. If anybody ever say they did anything to me homosexual, I'm going to say that it was rape, and I want their ass charged with a crime. But I said to say this. This is how bad I do not want to date her.
And clock this, how he said, how he didn't say it was actually a RAPE. He said he's going to narrate it as a RAPE. I want y'all to clock the language here. I want y'all to be clear about the way he's wording and everything. Not that it was a RAPE, but he's going to narrate it as a RAPE. He's going to tell everybody else it was a RAPE if anything ever comes out. If anybody ever comes forward from the LGBT community about having a sexual and romantic experience with him, why would he need to say that he's going to say it was that if it was in fact that? He's not saying the only reason I would end up in a situation like that is if I'm RAPED. He said if anybody ever comes forward and say that I engage in this activity, that I'm going to say and classify it as a RAPE experience and say that I was drugged.
I would rather date a black tranny, and I ain't never been with no tranny. I'd rather date a black tranny. Like I said, I don't trust that white woman. I'm going to be honest with you, especially not at this point in my life. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Like I said, I feel like I'm going to get set up to go to jail. I feel like I'm going to have to deal with some Emmett Till shit. Like I said, and I'm going to say no homo. Like I said, I told you I'm about to say some wild shit. Like I said, I told you I'm about to say some wild shit. Like I said, I don't want no damn white bitch. I ain't going to lie to you. Like I said, I ain't going to jail. And I don't want to deal with that smell. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to deal with it. I know that shit sound crazy, but I swear to God, like I said, I don't want no white bitch. I don't. You want me to repeat it? Repeat it. They said what I'm talking about. You want me to repeat it? Somebody said you just said the gayest shit ever. I know that's the gayest shit I ever said in my life, but I'm telling you, that's how bad I don't want no white bitch. Like I said, I'm not dating no white woman. You're not about to get me in jail. You're not about to trick me in jail, and I'm not dealing with none of that, like I said.
Girl, hold on. Let me switch over my microphone. Microphone, girl. Because the way he kept getting into some things over there in this 3-hour diatribe, girl. They even asked him, would he date Saucy Santana rather than date a white? No, would he rather have sex with Saucy Santana than to have sex with a white woman? He said yes. He would rather be with Saucy Santana than to be with a white. Now, this is the king of homophobia. This is the king of transphobia. Choosing of his own fruition to find a way to excuse participating in homosexuality. Nobody asked him for this. Nobody made him talk about this. This is what he volunteered to y'all, because that's how much the truth was ready to jump out of the closet, girl. That's how leading edge the truth was, girl. That shit just had to pop out, girl. But because he king of the homophobes, he can't all out just admit to sexuality, girl. So he got to find hypotheticals in order to justify his affiliations and his attractions. So y'all just heard him say that if anything ever come out, not that it was RAPE, but he gonna say that it was in order to get that narrative off his motherfucking back. And then he tried to use not liking white women as a way to justify him choosing trans women. This is king of the homophobes, and was later asked about Sexyy Santana and said he would fuck with Sexyy Santana before fucking with a white woman, and tried to dress this all up in the conversation of white supremacy, and I'd rather date black and stay black rather than to date people who have privilege over me, and to date people who got social privilege over me, when young Pharaoh never considered this as a hypothetical. You could remain single. That's also an option. But for whatever reason, young Pharaoh didn't even conceive of being single, right? Because this wasn't about his hypothetical. This was more so about a truth he needs to admit on some level or another, so that he could feel some sense of completeness, girl, and normalcy, child. And God only knows what the fuck young Pharaoh been getting into ever since he got evicted out of his dream home, put back into the projects, been eating on oodles and noodles, and what type of low down shit he been doing in the nooks and crevices, girl, of the ghettos as a result of losing everything he ever had, girl, and being back at the bottom. Only God and him knows, baby, what type of shit he been getting into down there to the ghetto, bitch. So is young Pharaoh also trying to prep and prime us, girl, for a scandal? Is he trying to prep and prime us, child, for something to possibly come out about him? So he trying to get ahead of shit, girl, just in case one of these trans escorts he done hired, because he's clear about the fact that he pays for play too. He's clear about that, girl, that he pays for play. Honey, what lonely night got the best of young Pharaoh, girl, and he found himself possibly on a gay dating app, girl, and did some things he not so proud of, girl, and he don't know if it's going to come a day where any of those individuals, okay, are going to want to spill the tea, honey, because once again, he came to us with this shit. He chose to exert this information. He chose, girl, to get into this dialogue. Why? And I believe that there's no better circumstances for him to want to tell the truth, because that's typically what being brought back down to the bottom allows us to do, is finally get to the naked truth of our existence. That's the humbling effects about being brought down to size. Is we get real humbled, real vulnerable, and there are things that come out of our inner being. There are things that come out of our consciousness that would never come out at the top, bitch. Got too much to lose at the top, to be honest. Got too much to lose at the top, to be transparent. I find it interesting that he's able to have this conversation and say these things, which goes totally and explicitly against his brand. It goes against his messaging. It goes against everything he ever said and taught, girl. It goes against his own fight against homosexual implications over the years. And yet, here it is. A day of reckoning came, and this nigga makes the exception for sleeping with men and trans women, but tries to do that in a way that he thinks is palatable by saying, as a means to stay race loyal, I am even willing to sleep with men and or trans women. When this man can stay race loyal by just remaining single as well. Because what's the point of staying race loyal when, to his own teaching, right, gay people and trans people don't have children? So what's the point of staying race loyal? It's not like, to your psychology, you can so-called procreate in a same sex. This is all his rhetoric, right? So I know you're not really saying this because that's what you're really saying. This is a admission and a confession. And this is the first round of it. Y'all know them gays who full on fucking gay, but when they come out, they got to say they bisexual, honey, because it's levels to this coming out shit. It's levels.
That was me.
It's levels to this self-acceptance shit. Not that anybody could believe that Reckless was bisexual, but see how even he was, self-deceived enough to sell that idea. But I'm going to shut up. Reckless, what are your thoughts about young Pharaoh's sentiment? Because you know, as well as me, just how homophobic this man is and how much he has had to say about homosexuals and trans people and how much of a central message this is to his teachings. To see him making the exception to sleep with, be sexual with the very people that he has taught hate toward and about, and demoralize and dehumanize. I mean, what do you make of this motherfucking nigga sitting here in this 4x4 ass apartment on this blow up mattress, getting into his teens?
Girl, fuck young Pharaoh. Fuck his newspaper looking ass. I don't give a fuck. Us as queer people, we do not accept that motherfucker at raggedy ass nigga. We don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. We don't get. And I'm sorry. I'm about to say a word, but this word's never been offensive to me. It's actually been funny to me. So if this word offends y'all, I'm so sorry. He is a sissy. Okay, it's never been offensive to me. It's always been a funny word to me, and I'm so sorry. You are a sissy, and with that being said, sir, we do not accept you over here in the queer community, because I know what's going to happen. Since you gave your admission, now people in the Hotep Black community, etc., are going to kick your ass out. And queer people, you better not take your ass over there trying to defend that raggedy motherfucker. No, fuck him. We don't give a fuck. Fuck him. And then on top of it, it proves the point of that these motherfuckers have no principle to stand on, because if you were going by principle, it would be consistent. But yet you're supposed to be quote unquote a leader. The thing about being a leader is having integrity, and also with having integrity is being consistent. Also with consistency, your words and your actions have to match, or have to be very consistent with each other. If one or the other do not match, then guess what? There's an inconsistency, which means that it lacks trust, which means that people 9 times 10 will not want to be led by you because they cannot trust you. So these niggas always talking about leadership. These motherfuckers don't even know what the fuck leaders are. They don't know the criteria of being a leader. Yes, they can say it, but however can you perform it? Can you exhibit it? And so with that being said, fuck him. His old raggedy ass. We don't accept you. We don't accept you because you are an industry plant to try to come into the queer community and fuck shit up. We don't accept you. Take your ragged ass on. Ugly ass.
The Black community, I want y'all to pay attention to what I exposed here, because this is a prime example of why y'all need to side eye homophobes and transphobes like I've been telling y'all, because these be the motherfuckers who be secretly fantasizing, jacking off, and fingering a motherfucking booty to members of the fucking community while getting out here in front of y'all, dragging the very fucking community that they are adjacent to, and dragging the very fucking community that they are a part fucking of. Because guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I'm just gonna leave y'all guessing. Tremail, what are your thoughts?
And you know
about...
what? I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about this shit. I'm so sorry. Like, it just be the gag and the nerve of these raggedy ass motherfucking niggas, because they really sit their ass on a platform or sit their ass on their footstool, whatever, the soapbox, whatever, and they have the nerve to try to demonize the exact same thing that you're fucking part of. Now, I do understand the psychology and the sociological aspect of creating self-hate, because we live in a patriarchal system which is reinforced by gender roles, which is reinforced by toxic masculinity and all the other stuff. So when queer people and women, we are the victims of that shit, well, direct victims of that shit. But here's the thing that gets me. The thing that gets me is that at the end, all of a sudden you want to, because once you actually do come out or whatever, or if you decide to make that decision, all of a sudden you're gonna want grace and mercy. But bitch, where the fuck was that grace and mercy for that lesbian woman that she almost had to put her foot up your ass because she was highly disrespectful and being manipulative in that exchange? Where's the grace and mercy in terms of queer people when these queer children are taking their lives because of your stupid ass rhetoric and your fucking cult like following? Where's the grace and mercy for trans women being executed off of the face of the earth because of rhetoric and doctrine like that? And these motherfucking niggas talk out of both sides of their neck. On one end, queer people can't have children. Okay, cool. But then you're talking about you want to be pro-black and you want to be with, you'd rather be with queer people than a white woman. And then on top of that, that's actually and that's another thing about relationships. These motherfucking niggas and their idea of relationship is it's like this codependency. It's like this neediness to be with somebody. Like conscious, be by your motherfucking self. If you cannot be by yourself, what the fuck you think you're gonna do with somebody else? What the fuck are you going to do when a person says, I'm about to leave? What the fuck you think you're going to do when a person tries to run manipulative tactics on you? A lot of people want to have relationships and want to be in relationships out of deficiency and being desperate. And the thing about it is that when you're desperate and you have a deficiency, you're willing to take more shit than you possibly would if you were at a healthy state. Now, I do understand that everybody's perfect. I do understand that everybody's going to be up to par in terms of, I'm supposed to be at this level of self-healing, self-care. I understand all of that. But the thing is that motherfuckers are bruised, motherfuckers are sick, mentally sick, motherfuckers are mentally ill. And then they want to put that narrative and push that narrative on a whole group of individuals, a whole group of people, saying that queer people are mentally ill, trans women are mentally ill, non-binary, and all this other stuff. This is just an agenda, all this mental illness and stuff. But yet, that's the pot calling the kettle black, because last time I checked, everything that young Pharaoh has preached, he has been a direct contradiction of. He talks about protecting the children, but last time I checked, weren't you the one had a couple of bullets in the chamber and was trying to take out your own children? Well, your baby mama, but your children were also in attendance. You literally talk about how there's an agenda to quote unquote emasculate the black man, and they're using queer people, but yet Motherfucking nigga, you're part of the queer people. You're part of that. But that's all I have to say. These niggas
That
ain't
was a lot
girl.
to say. Young Pharaoh is never going to come fully out. He is smart enough to not do that. But what he will do is what he just did, which is make sure to get in front of a potential scandal by spilling his own tea, but spill it in a way that is palatable, that sets him up as a victim, while also at the same time getting to express some sense of liberation through the empowering notion of coming out and being able to be transparent. There is a power that is in that for the soul to just be able to be honest. So this is a very elementary stab at it. And yes, I clocked all of the verbiage to the chat's point. Tramel, what do you think of something like this? What do you think of a deep homophobic motherfucking person who has led the charge for years against the LGBT community, making the statements that you heard here tonight? Tramel asked, is Tramel Calypso here?
I think that nigga gay.
No.
I think it's something very strange about somebody making or building a whole platform and or fan base around something that you just do not like. I find that to be oddly strange. Why are you so invested in things that you don't participate in? Why do you care about things that have nothing to do with you? Literally, other people living their lives should never bother you. That is the epitome of mental illness. If it doesn't directly affect you, because honestly, what queer people are you moving around, honestly, to even have these types of feelings? You don't know. I'm gonna say, assumingly, you don't know any queer people. You don't hang around any queer people. You don't even work with queer people, because clearly you work from a corner of your house. So I'm not understanding the need to talk about them. There are so many other things to talk about. There are so many other topics to have. Literally, you can be talking about your booty hole being brown if you want to. There's so many other things to talk about, and I just find it strange and a little bit gay that you choose this to talk about, especially just because somebody asked you, like you said, they just said, would you ever date a white woman? You could just said no and moved on to your next topic. No, I don't want a white woman. But you go to these extremes of, I'd rather have sex with a transsexual. I'm like, oh my God.
Sure would rather.
Rather? Why? That was never
Sure
an
would
option.
rather.
That was never that was not even the question. Like you said, it's like, would you date a white woman? The answer is no. I've learned that people like to give up extra information when they feel uncomfortable in a situation that they are about to lie about. So they make up shit. You know, they always say don't ask yes or no questions. That was definitely a yes or no question. Would you date a white woman? No. And move on to the next thing. It's like, well,
And I'm so committed,
yeah.
and I'm so committed to my race that I'd rather remain single than to be with a non-black female. He could have said that.
He could have said that too, but he really could have just said no and kept it pushing. It was really just a no. It was really a no, but you wanted to add that extra flavor on there because, you know, like you said, we live in a polarizing society.
Because that's a flavor that's on his wheel of flavors. Yeah. And that was his way of being able to confess it. That was his palatable way of being able to say that out loud.
It's like, oh, I'm cool with it, but I'm not cool with it. if y'all gonna be mad at me about it. I'd rather do that if y'all cool with me saying that. Because then even when they was like, that's the gayest shit ever. And he was just like, I'm just saying. Girl, go to sleep. But yeah, that's all I got to say.
All right. Last but not least, speaking of homophobia, girl, a very notable NBA player has found himself amid controversy, honey, for his new publicity stills, Mr. Jimmy Butler. Okay, now I've never heard of Jimmy Butler prior to this controversy. You know, this is where my girl side kicks in, honey. Not really much so into sports, even though I love making and seeing a man sweat. Okay, but this NBA player recently came out with his swoop, girl. First of all, can we just leave it to CTV? Okay, all these people trying to come out and emulate CTV, girl. Okay, nobody can really give it like CTV gives it, sugar. All right, if y'all gonna do it, at least come consult with me so I can really help y'all to pull this thing off in a way that, you know, is great and fabulous and just fly as hell. But, you know, at least come consult with the kid, child. But apparently, girl, these images got the people stirring, honey, and fans were shocked, appalled, and they didn't understand. They were confused and dizzied and dazzled, girl. They did not understand what the math was given, child. Of course, homophobia jumped out from viewers, girl, and, you know, the agenda to emasculate black men and the gay agenda and all things that young Pharaoh stand for, girl, came screaming out of the community, girl. All right, now, to add a little bit of context here, Jimmy is known for kind of, you know, jazzing up I think they take these per quarter or whatever it is, like these publicity sales. And in the last issue of Images, girl, you know, he was wearing locks, honey. He had long locks down to, you know, his nipples and things. In his new senior pictures, girl, in his new high school graduation images, girl, he decided he wanted a press and go kit, girl, put a nasty flat iron to these split ends. And here it is. We have Jimmy Butler, as he says, is embracing his emotional side, girl. He calls this his emotional side, okay? Now, for some, it's giving emo, and for others, it's giving emo-sexual, girl. What are y'all thoughts about Jimmy Butler expressing what he calls to be his emotional side? And what do you think about all of the negative publicity he received behind styling his own natural hair this way? Starting with you, Reckless.
I don't want to say too much because I am going to do a video on this, but I am going to say just enough. In terms of Jimmy Butler, okay, so from what I gathered, because I started to do a little digging, they said with Jimmy Butler, from people in the comments and people who apparently know more than what I would possibly know, they say he does stuff like this all the time. He's trolls. Now, I forgot exactly why they said he was trolling or whatever. It has something to do with Caucasian or some emo. I don't know, but he was trolling. That was something that I was hearing on the back burner. Now, in terms of for a larger conversation, is that my thing is this, because I've seen the backlash that this man received, and to be completely honest, he could be trolling, but also let's also be very clear. It's interesting to me that within a matrix, aka a system, that where melanated men, cis-het melanated men, talk about how they are always represented in a certain way, and their image is always constructed and controlled by other people and all these other things and yada yada yada. But my thing is this: now you guys have the opportunity to show up the way that you want to. You guys have the opportunity to showcase what you really feel and how you really want to show up. This is the age of Aquarius, which is the divine feminine. The divine feminine is about to roar. That motherfucker is like a damn phoenix. And with that being said, all things, like you said earlier, Conscious, all things that's in the dark will come to the light. So let's just say that he's not trolling. And this is exactly who he is, then there should be no hiding it. And another thing that I found very interesting as well is because there were melanated women as well that was giving him backlash. But I'm like, would you guys not want this? Because the thing about it, one of the main concerns, and I know this has nothing to do with sexuality because you can look the way that you look, but yet still be heterosexual. But why would you want a man who really wants to look emo, who really wants to showcase his image in a different light than what's actually being presented in front of you, and then yet you're literally in a relationship with a man, and from your perspective everything's great, but from his perspective he's not living in his truth and showcasing and being his authentic self. And so now, for example, it's separate, but get rid of the specifics, but hold on to the message. Now you're in a situation like Kris Jenner and Bruce Jenner, where you have a person who's not being 100% authentic with who they are, and you get into a relationship, a marriage with this person, and then later on find out that, oh my God, this person really is emo. But however, if you knew that up front, you guys probably wouldn't have been compatible. So on one end, you guys complain about you want men to let go of this toxic masculinity and be authentic within themselves. And, you know, because of DL culture, or you guys being tricked, or you guys being lied to, because if I knew you was like this, I never would have dated you. But then on the other end, when you have somebody that show up and does showcase the exact same thing that you're requesting, asking for, all of a sudden you take issue with it. Another thing that I found very interesting as well, now we talked about the men. Because the thing about it is that, I'm going to say this before I even move on. With the men, we understand that your image is not a monolith. We understand that your image is not only a thug. We understand your image is not only a gay man. We understand your image is not only a criminal, but however, you also need to be very clear as well. These images, like being emo, like being gay, like being even a thug, whatever, a businessman, melanated men are not a monolith. So the way that he shows up looking emo, that's also the image of a black man. And he does not have to be emasculated in order to showcase that image. Because the same thing that very interesting as well is that men, once we get into conversations around men and masculinity, etc., and if you actually allow them to speak and allow them to speak, they will say things along the lines of this, of, you know, I don't like it that when I'm vulnerable or when I showcase certain things, people like to chop away at my masculinity. But yet, you're literally contributing to your concerns. You're contributing to a system that dehumanizes you. You're contributing to a society that chips away at your manhood just because you probably wear a little bit of pink. So it's, on one end, you can't complain about something, but then on the other end, you're also contributing to it. Now, let's get over to the queer people, because I got something for you hoes too. It's very interesting.
And we got 7 minutes. So
okay, got you. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. But it's very interesting to me that how queer people on one end, we want to, quote unquote, we're very progressive, and we want to move towards progression and etc. And people accepting themselves, trans people, non-binary, gay, queer men, queer women, etc. But then yet, when we have heterosexuals, whoever who assume to be heterosexual people, or whoever, come out and be authentic, and it may not be, quote unquote, the norm, even for queer people, that we do that, we become white massa as well. The same way how we tell heterosexual people that they're white massa, we also do the same thing, and we start to criticize and reinforce the same system that we complain about, which breeds homophobia and queerphobia. So that's what I'm gonna leave right there. I'm gonna let y'all go.
Tremel, what do you think about Jimmy's new sleigh and the controversy following his new hairstyle?
I think he looks so cute.
Period.
I think he looks so cute, and I think he's just so, he's funny. He was funny. I mean, I don't know if he's going through something mentally for real, but if he is, I do apologize. But I just think that the way he set these people up to look crazy and talk about him, I think that that's very cute. He stirred up whatever he wanted to stir up, and he sat there and he was just looking at the people like, what y'all got to say? Because I don't really care. And I liked it. I loved it. And I think about the controversy around it. He made y'all all look like fools. If you mad at him about how he looked, child, he got your ass. Because this is just so strange that it's all strange to me that you would care what a man look like that ain't your nigga. What that matter? What matters? What does it matter if he's gay, emo, whatever the fuck? Like, who cares? It's hair. You change it all the time. He could be a man that changes his hair. Dudes be putting wigs on all the time. And just because he styled it a different type of way, his natural hair, you got niggas over here putting on shit, toupees on their head and cutting it into waves. Y'all don't say nothing to them. Niggas literally got lace fronts these days. Like, what's the problem? Y'all don't call them gay. It's just weird. And that's all I got to say about it. Just leave that man alone and let him do what he want to do with his hair.
Man, I have to continue to rally behind Black men. Please continue to give a middle finger to the Black community and free your fucking selves. Just as we're supporting a Black woman being free, a Black man, you're entitled to fucking freedom. And shout out to Jimmy for stirring up the conversation and for not allowing social constructs and stereotypes and toxic masculinity to claim his creative mind and to claim his autonomy as it relates to his fucking hair and his fucking body, which he can do what the fuck he wants to do with it, and allow people to be pissed and allow people to be mad. I am enjoying this era of the young thugs in wedding dresses and the Jaden Smiths who are wearing skirts to prom and enjoying the Jimmy Butlers and all of these seemingly heterosexual men who are broadening the box that Black men have been forced into as it relates to white supremacy. So I find it so revolutionary when Black men operate in any capacity outside of the norm. I think that is dope. I think that representation needs to be there. And the only way that Black men are going to have their agency and autonomy normalized is if they continue to own it. They have to own it. They have to own it. They have to be willing to be taken to the cross. They have to be willing to be judged. They have to be willing to have stones thrown at them, etc. But the beauty in that is you get to live in your freedom, and these toxic ideas around masculinity get to eventually fade, because as much as the Black community will knuck and buck against Black men operating off code, the Black community refuses to also be without Black men. So eventually the same community that would judge Black men who operate outside of code will bow down. They just use the knucking and bucking as a way to intimidate and attempt to control those folk who operate outside of that box and to get them back into formation. But if you stand your ground, yeah, we'll see a better day in the Black community. Black men need this. I am of the belief that a lot of why Black men, particularly Black cis hetero men, are so tense and participate in such egotism and violence if need be is because Black men are operating in a self-induced prison. And I don't think there's enough conversation around what it means to be free, and the way that not voting for yourself and not greenlighting your authentic self can lead to the development of hostility, of depression, of suicidal ideation. That there's a lot to be said about being full circle in your humanity, and all of the beauty and all of the emotional reward that's in self-acceptance. Black men oftentimes are not able to experience that because they are trying to uphold a standard of masculinity. They're trying to live up to an expectation that they either successfully do or don't. And either way, we know through the data that these expectations and these standards are unaliving Black men and causing them to eventually become a shell of themselves and operate in a mutated version of themselves. So I expected, of course, the homophobia to be there. This is just another reminder, because it's examples like this. When it comes to the straight community, this is why I don't allow the straight community to tell me that homophobia don't exist. Because there are a trillion examples of the fact that the Black community is still profoundly queerphobic. And this is just another example. So I don't ever want to see another queer person sitting in another heterosexual space and have the Black community try to persuade Black queer people that the Black community is so accepting and so inclusive and so this, that, and the third. It's bullshit. It is an urban legend. But as I always say, I'll give the Black community this as it relates to being so accepting. Y'all are accepting of the murderers. Y'all turn into pastors. The thieves, y'all turn into prophetess. The scammers, y'all turn into ministers. Oh yeah, y'all are very accepting. You can be everything in the Black community but Black and queer. Everything else, y'all are right. You're so accepting of. We see that all across the fucking board. Shout out to Sexyy Red and Blueface and Krishan Rock. Yeah, you can be everything. You can be an abuser. Shout out to Lil Boosie. You could be a pedo. Shout out to R. Kelly. Shout out to all these folk. We can clearly see that in the Black community. Very accepting.
Brother Polite.
Very, very accepting.
Brother Polite.
You can be everything else but queer in the Black community. So I just don't fall for the okie dokie queer folk. And when straight folk try to remind y'all that the Black community is accepting, remind them of what the fuck they actually do accept. In place of accepting law-abiding, loving Black queer people who contribute to their communities and contribute to the world they're in, who contribute to the economy of this country, who make something out of their lives, but the same Black community would rather accept the Lil Boosie badass, somebody who subjected his underage sons and nephews to sexual molestation from a street hooker. They would rather accept R. Kelly for decades and decades and decades until the courts decided to press the gas on his ass, while everybody apparently knew what R. Kelly was up to and didn't give a damn. Yeah, the same Black community that sensationalizes and pumps their money into supporting Crazy in Love season 1, 2, and 3 and the exploitation of this Black child and this Black woman. Yeah, we can see what the Black community, it fucking accepts. Totally on brand. You can be anything you want to be in the Black community. Except be a nigga who takes a dick in his ass or a nigga who chops his dick off in place of identifying as a woman. Everything else can go. Everything else can be greenlit. Everything else can be supported.
Wow.
So yeah, the Black community is accepting, all right, and loving, all right, and inclusive, all right. But my Black queer people, remind these hoes when they try to convince, when the same community try to convince y'all that homophobia does not exist. Just refer to Mr. Jimmy Butler. Just refer to Young Thug in a Dress. Just refer to all these straight identifying men who, when they operate in a way that's perceived as feminine or as homosexual, get dragged in the media.
Let's not forget. Remember we had Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors, the pitcher.
Jonathan Majors. There's examples galore about how homophobia is rampant in the Black community. And see, this is why you have a lot of Black queer people who can testify to feeling safer as queer people in all white spaces. And then the Black community get pissed at those Black queer people who have the nerve to say that they can live their whole lives with swoops, with being experimental in their aesthetics and all, even being effeminate and or just flat out gay, without a word from the white community in those spaces, without ever being questioned by white people in those spaces over their sexuality. But the Black community is so accepting. Our time has wrapped. Obviously, this is a conversation that can go on and on for days. I may do either an after show or just another show before the weekend is out for us to revisit this topic, because there's a deep dive. And somebody mentioned earlier that Snoop Dogg has been able to wear the pin curls and the Shirley Temple curls and things. I'm going to tell you why Snoop Dogg has been able to be the exception. And I'm going to even tell you why Prince was able to be the exception. Because, see, you can never just be flat out queer in the Black community. The only reason why Prince got away with being effeminate, and the only reason why Snoop got away with wearing a so-called effeminate hairstyle is because they both strongly identified with being heterosexuals. Prince knew he could not be in those thigh-high boots and have his lip gloss popping and have his perming, and also be without having a bundle of women around him and always being tied to another beautiful woman in a romantic and sexual sense. He had to make up the difference and still operate in a way that was palatable by making sure that his heterosexuality led as he showed up effeminately, so that there was balance and that he was digestible. Snoop got away with wearing the so-called effeminate hairstyle because he was a misogynist. He was hypersexual. He made sure to lead from his heterosexuality to dilute the fact that his hair was in Shirley Temple curls. He made sure to remind y'all that he was for the hoes. Made sure to have video vixens and girls and women at the front of the line. Made sure. See, so even all those examples, Michael Jackson the same. Made sure that he proclaimed heterosexual. Made sure that he had entanglements with women. Made sure that his love songs were driven toward women. None of these Black men that y'all named were able to show up as just strictly feminine without a conversation, a clarifying one about their orientation, and were never able to show up as just strictly gay. And that's what you have to be in the Black community if you want some level of safety and acceptance, and you don't want to have to deal with the bullshit. Is if you're going to do this over here, you got to make sure to rev all this up over there. If the pendulum gonna swing to the left, you got to make sure that motherfucker swing back to the right. You got to make up the difference somewhere. So, great dialogue. Was not expecting to be here for over 3 hours. I thought, shit, considering the docket, this was going to be less than an hour, but this was a panel discussion, and some of these topics were very touchy. Parting words, I am Tramel, and thank you for joining the panel tonight. Anything you want to say before you biggity bounce?
I just want to say maybe like 2 or 3 things. Quickly. I think it's really funny that they said that Sexyy Red's name, I saw a comment that said her name should be changed to Spit Start. If you look at the video, you'll understand why. And just check out my music. You know, I'm out here. I'm out here doing my thing. I got a new single coming out. It's called Long Days. Check it out if you
Shout out to Long Days.
Yeah, it's about my relationship that is over. So check it out.
Oh, well, where can they find you again?
You can follow me at @IAM_Tramel. That's IAM_TRAMEL.
Period. Well, thank you for being here, Tramel. Y'all make sure to
thank
follow
you for having me.
Single. I will text your ass. Bye. That was Tramel, you guys. Reckless Logic. Any parting words?
I have no parting words. You guys know where you guys can find me. I have a YouTube channel, Reckless Logic, with an Instagram, Reckless Logic. That's it.
Period. Thank you for being here. And amazing collaboration. You guys make sure to support Reckless on his channel. And I'm out. Make sure you guys thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that good jazz. If you enjoyed yourself, if you were stimulated, girl, if you were aroused, if you were entertained, make sure that you show a nigga some love over on the Cash App and the PayPal. All details and information are in the description box below. Thank you. As it relates to the face jury, I'm going to also list this in the description box below. And I will see you guys later. Bye.